down to one, and it's this storm that is located moving out of Bessemer, coming up on Lipscomb and Midfield and Fairfield. Next up, it could affect some of the southwestern communities of Birmingham toward Winona High School, up toward Powderly. If you live in any of these places, you need to be in a safe place, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows.
Mentioned, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Chilton, Southern Bibb, part of...
And we have a new tornado warning now for Blunt and Etowah. We have a tornado indicated near Aniana.
Just came up.
Moving northeast at 40. Let's go back to the main graphic system very quickly, and we're going to go right back to John's stream. This is a new tornado warning in effect for parts of Blunt and Etowah counties. This does not include the city of Gadsden. This does include the city of Attala. And again, this is an example of how these work. This is a tornado near Aniana that's moving northeast. This will include a pretty good chunk of central and western Etowah County. It includes places like Duck Springs. It includes places like Attala, Walnut Grove. It does not include Southside, does not include Rainbow City, does not include downtown Gadsden. So this is, for those of you in this area, go to a safe place right now. You know the routine, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. In fact, really quickly, if we can take the, well, we can't take the high-res radar, but if you can pop the radar on here, Brian, let's take a closer look at your system here. We'll show maybe just a single, we'll slow it down to one. Let's zoom into this. And this is the storm that is prompting the tornado warning. You can see that hook right there. Back in the southwestern flank of this thing, this is Aniana. It's moving northeast like that. So again, if you are in Aniana or points north and east up into Etowah County, you want to be in a good, safe place. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. So that is a tornado warning for parts of Blunt and parts of Etowah counties. Now let's go back to John Brown's live stream, and we're going to watch his camera. This is the other tornado indication we have, and this is, of the two, this is the most significant on radar. We've got a tornado warning that is coming right up into perhaps the downtown Birmingham area. It can happen. A lot of times people think that, you know, tornadoes don't come through larger cities, but they certainly can. And we continue to see multiple reports of tornadoes down coming from law enforcement. And again, John Brown is going to get in a position where he's going to try and get a shot of this thing. It's going to be very hard to do.
The lightning flashes are not helping a lot either in this case.
Right, and of course he's in this torrential rain. I mean, it is really pouring. But the radar is showing, and again, if we're not talking about your community, you have no problems. We have two tornado warning polygons now. We have one that is in effect for Jefferson County. We have another one for Blunt and Etowah. That's it. If we have not called out your county, you have no problems. There are no warnings in effect there. It could be later, but there are not any right now. So we're focusing on the storms that are a direct threat to life and property. And again, we're watching John. John is along Interstate 5920. I want to say that John is in Fairfield. I want to say he's just coming under the where the trains cross. Oops. And he's probably coming up next on that Valley Road exit by U.S. Steel. And if we have a tornado, I think the greatest chance of a tornado is going to be to the right of where John is. But of course, you know, in a situation like this, we're going to have a very hard time seeing things. But there's clearly potential for a tornado that we've seen that's out in the Bessemer area. It's come on through. A lot of people have seen it, law enforcement. John Brown has seen it within his vehicle there. And this is coming right up toward downtown Birmingham. And everybody in downtown Birmingham needs to stay in your safe place. This would include UAB, major hospitals. Samford University needs to be in their tornado plan right now. And we are watching this go on through. And again, this is cyclic. And I'll say now, the last sweep, Brian, is another case where this thing is reorganizing. The last sweep is suggesting that it's not as organized now, and this thing perhaps is in a phase where it's going to get up off the ground. And then it gets back down on the ground. That's been the way it has been working with these things. But clearly, these are not long-track tornadoes. These things have lasted for maybe, 10, 15 minutes, and they're gone. And then they redevelop and they drop again. It'll be very interesting to see, how many of these things we've had. We have had at least four, maybe six, six fatalities. Six in the state today. The fatalities came up in Limestone County, which is up in the Tennessee Valley this afternoon from a tornado near Athens. And we have not had any reports of injuries in the immediate Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden areas, despite the damage. You saw Bill Castle's video earlier. There's been significant damage that is located in Kimberly. The Kimberly firehouse is gone. There's been significant damage to the Kimberly Church of God. U.S. Highway 31 was blocked by trees down earlier this evening from a tornado. And I understand that this has been a pretty rough night. But if we get through with no injuries, we're doing okay. We just don't know everything yet. We're not going to know a lot until the first light of day. During a situation like this is very complicated. You're seeing some of the damage from Kimberly. This was shot by Bill Castle earlier this evening. The fire station there is pretty much destroyed. Nobody was injured. Now, this is the Kimberly Church of God on US 31. You can see very extensive damage. And again, thankfully, I think there were some people maybe at a meeting there, but apparently everybody was okay. And again, we've heard of no injuries at that point. So that's a very, very good thing. But you can see how that, that fire station being taken out like that, that's pretty amazing. I mean,
Just got a tweet, James. A friend is watching our live stream in a closet.
That's where a lot of people watch us on their phones.
We're glad to hear that they're doing the right thing and seeking shelter.
Yeah, Birmingham Southern needs to be in their tornado plan. Sanford, UAB. Again, the hospitals in downtown Birmingham. The encouraging news is the fact that in the last couple of sweeps here, the storm is greatly less organized coming up toward downtown Birmingham. But the trend for these things, they have been to reorganize in a heartbeat, and before you know it, you've got another rotation that's down. So even though at the moment it looks like the storm is kind of falling apart, we certainly can't rule out the chance of this thing coming back once again. And we are not telling anybody to let up on their tornado precautions at this point. John Brown.
They brought water around. Yeah.
John Brown said, he saw this, and we saw where the power outages were there. There's clearly some power outages in Bessemer, out around UAB West Hospital in Bessemer. But the hospital is okay, I'm sorry. Stan, are you still there? We have been so busy. This is James.
Yeah, James, this is Stan Cook.
Oh, hey, tell us what happened to your church building.
Well, we've been trying to get to the building as quick as we can. We actually used as a community storm shelter every time there's a tornado because a large proportion of the basement of the church is completely underground. And we had many people in there from the community, and thankfully they were there because there are trees down all over Kimberly. Power lines are down. Mobile home park has been hit. Of course, you've mentioned the city hall and the fire department. Our church is, the old sanctuary is destroyed. The new sanctuary is damaged. So we're very thankful that there are no injuries that we know of tonight. But we're trying to find a way to get to our church now because every road is blocked with downed trees.
Right. And, of course, we all know the church is not the building. The church is the people. So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
You guys will be okay. It doesn't make it easy, though.
Yeah, tell everybody to just remember us in their prayers. And this church has been here for 113 years, and it will be here when the sun comes up, and God's people will recover.
Amen. All right, Stan, thank you so much for the report, and God bless you guys. Thanks for checking in.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's go to the warning that's up in Blount and Etowah counties, guys. If we can do that, we're going to take a look at this is the warning in effect, Blount and Etowah. And again, this is a situation where we've got a possible tornado that has come out of Aniana. And if you guys can, we're going to look at the storm that's up in Blount County right now, the one that's near Aniana. And since we've got John on the Apple TV, I'll let you do that one here, Brian, or you or Charles. We want to look at the storm that is up here near Aniana. We're going to go in close and take a look at that. And if we can look at the velocity display, that would help. Again, this is the signature right here. This is northeast of Aniana, moving northeast. And again, you can see there's evidence of broad circulation in through here. And as far as I can determine, the warning was issued based on radar. The warning was not issued based on an actual report. So again, we've got circulation that is just northeast of Aniana moving northeast. And as it moves into Etowah County, again, we stress this tornado warning does not include the city of Gadsden. It does include Attala and points off to the west. Includes places like Walnut Grove, Altoona. As you can see, that's Highway 132 that runs from 278 back down into Aniana. That's on the Blount to Etowah County line. But again, right in through here, there could be some evidence of rotation that's moving to the northeast. And again, we're going to keep a close eye on that. So if you are in Blount County, northeast of Aniana, if you are in Etowah County, west of the city of Gadsden, we want you to be in a safe place, and you know what that is. That's a small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows, as this thing continues moving on to the north and east. So we have 2 active tornado warning polygons. We have the one that includes the Birmingham Metro, and we have this that includes the western part of Etowah County and areas north and east of Aniana. So again, that is the circulation moving up like that. We'll go down and look at the storm that's coming up through Birmingham. And you can see that it's pretty disorganized. This was a very tight circulation. And let me just say this, the circulation looks a lot better on my radar. In fact, let's go ahead. I'm going to take over the Apple TV so we can watch my radar.
But not on the, yeah.
Yeah, this is what it looks like. And again, that's your couplet right there. That's a pretty strong indication of a tornado. Aniana, that's your couplet moving northeast. This is Altoona, this is Walnut Grove. Everybody in these communities need to be in a safe place. I think this will, a very good chance this stays well to the west of the city of Gadsden. And again, Gadsden is not even in the tornado warning polygon. This is for the western part of Etowah County. But again, that's the tornado circulation moving northeast. Altoona, Walnut Grove. You want to be in a safe place. While we got this, we'll go back down and look at the circulation that's coming up into Birmingham. And again, you can see how it's just really radically changed. I mean, it's amazing how the structure of these things that is changing over and over and over again. But at this point, it looks as though the circulation has greatly weakened, if not dissipated, coming up into Birmingham. We got John Brown on this thing, and John says he's not seeing anything right now. But still, understand, despite that, everybody should keep their tornado precautions in the city of Birmingham and point south. This tornado warning polygon is in effect for Fultondale, Forestdale, Tarrant, downtown Birmingham, and point south. And again, we stress this does not include any part of Shelby County. In fact, we can look at the tornado polygons again. We'll take a look at the other graphic system, and we're just going to look at the polygons only. This is the polygon warning for the Birmingham Metro, and you can see the warning has now been removed for the city of Hoover. The Weather Service has trimmed off the southern part of this. So Vestavia is included. Hoover is not included, and that's the good news. And we'll take that off. We're just going to look at the polygon right now. This is, I'm going to explain who's in and who's out. Downtown Birmingham, Fultondale, Forestdale, and point south. It includes Irondale. It includes Homewood, includes Vestavia, includes Cahaba Heights, includes Mountain Brook. And we'll see if this trend continues. It's going to be pretty tough for the Weather Service to continue this. It looks like this thing is dissipated, but again, do not hang in there. Keep in your tornado safe place until we can. Okay, the Weather Service is letting the Jefferson County warning expire. So there's your confirmation. So the National Weather Service in Birmingham, they are going to let the Jefferson County tornado warning expire, and that is set to expire in about 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes, this warning will be over, and that polygon is going to go away, which leaves us with one. And again, that is the one for Blount and Etowah counties. So again, if you're in the Birmingham Metro, you can go about your business. You can relax. Now, there could be another one. Understand, these things ramp right back up. We've had that history tonight. But this is the second polygon warning. This is in effect for parts of Blount and Etowah counties. and Gadsden. The city of Gadsden is not included. The city of Attala is included. You got Duck Springs involved in this. You've got Altoona. You've got Walnut Grove. Aniana, this is on past the city of Aniana right now. But again, based on what I'm seeing on the radar here, there's a pretty good tornado signature there that is approaching the city of Altoona and the city of Walnut Grove. So let's put the radar data back on here, and you can see that of course, all the lightning, all of these storms had a tremendous amount of lightning this evening. But again, right in there, there's the inflow notch, and that's the possibility of a tornado moving right up this way toward Altoona and Walnut Grove. So this is a tornado warning for parts of northeast, Blount, western Etowah counties, as we have a possible tornado. And again, we stress the tornado warning for Jefferson is expiring in 2 minutes. The Weather Service is going to let it go. The storm is very disorganized. The tornado is lifted. The tornado danger for the moment in Birmingham is over. Again, that's a storm that's broadly rotating, and something else could drop in just a little bit. But at this point, everything looks okay for the Birmingham Metro, as that warning will be expiring. So that's great news, and we can focus on this one storm. And if we've got maybe that Gadsden Skycam, we'd like just to look and see what we've got out there, because that is, you can't.
Let's see if we can swing it around.
Okay. Okay, this is a report we just received concerning the Kimberly damage, North Jefferson Middle School. And I've been in that place many times, in that gym. It's a marvelous school. Apparently, they have suffered heavy damage. That is up in the Kimberly Morris area. So again, North Jefferson Middle School has sustained heavy damage. The exact specifics of that, we don't know. But that is a fairly significant story right there. And thank goodness this happened at night and no kids were in the school building, at least to my knowledge. Sometimes there are after-school activities or things in the gym, but we know of nobody injured there. But again, apparently there's been significant damage to North Jefferson Middle School up in the Kimberly Morris area from a tornado that also destroyed part of the Kimberly Church of God building and the fire hall up there. You saw all the damage that Bill Castle sent back to us. So that's going to be one of the big stories for the Birmingham Metro, is what happened up and through there. We are watching the Weather Service chat, and again, the good news, the warning for Jefferson is over. It is 11:45. The polygon is in. So this is a tornado warning polygon. Now we've got parts of Marshall and parts of DeKalb counties involved in that. Those counties are served by the National Weather Service in Huntsville. But this is the one warning in the entire state, one tornado warning, we should say. And again, that's certainly good. So don't think we got our Gadsden Skycam. We've had some bandwidth issues.
I'm getting it positioned to the west.
Okay.
It's just trying to get it moved to the west. So right now we're looking kind of to the southwest, if I can get it to move. Let's switch back over. It's moving, looking towards the southwest over the city lights at this point, and then the storm is probably going to be on the right half side of that screenshot that you see there.
Okay. And again, we stress Gadsden is not in the tornado warning. I think we've started our effort to kind of teach polygonology here, if you will. In what we've learned, people still think if you hear, Etowah County's under a tornado warning, that means all of Etowah County, and that's not the way it works. It's just a part, and you've got to determine what part is under the warning, and then you can determine if you're in or out, and that's the best we do here. Down to the south, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of Chilton County, down into Dallas and Autauga counties. Looks like a little comma head feature is rotating through northern Chilton. Sometimes in those little comma head figures, you can have some wind damage, some straight line wind damage. And remember, whether it's straight line or tornado winds, you just need to know that they're there. So we'll mention that we got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of Bibb, Chilton, Perry, Autauga, Dallas, and Marengo counties. And the storms keep on moving to the east, and for those of you in extreme West Alabama, the tornado threat is over. The tornado risk is ended for counties like Marion, for counties like Lamar and Fayette. But off to the east, we've still got these storms that are still having a hard time getting into a line, and because they are still cellular in nature, we're still having some problems with tornadoes tonight. We've got that one storm up there in northeast Alabama. And the good news, again, watching the radar, it seems as though the organization, again, has really decreased. It's amazing how these things organize. They disorganize like that tonight. These are not long-lived tornadoes. Many of these things last for 5 minutes and they are gone. The tornado that was west of Birmingham, that might have been down for 5 or 6 minutes. It was gone. Some probably less than 5 minutes. And again, we're not advising anybody to lessen their tornado precautions right now, but clearly the organization of the storm that's around Altoona, Walnut Grove, part of Etowah County has not as 4 minutes ago.
Numerous structures with roof damage on Highway 150 at Carolina Avenue and Oak Street in Bessemer. Trees are also down. And Timberline West apartments, James, behind UAB West. Numerous apartments damaged. According to Bessemer, I believe that's fire department. It's on the scene with numerous roofs off and possible injuries.
Yeah, and that's the first report of injuries we've really had. This is Timberline West Apartments behind UAB West Hospital, and this is in Bessemer. Numerous apartments damaged, and Bessemer police is on the scene with numerous roofs off and possible injuries. And again, the key word is possible.
Police department reporting they're having to walk because there's too many trees down and damage on Oak Street.
Numerous structures with roof damage on Highway 150 at Carolina Avenue, Oak Street in Bessemer, trees down. And again, this is a result of the tornado that John Brown was on, the one we showed you earlier. So again, this is very significant, and this could, we've had the significant damage up in the Kimberly-Morris area, and it sure looks like we're going to have significant damage here in Bessemer from this. And again, this happened about 30 minutes ago. This was a storm that had extreme rotation on radar. There was a tornado warning in effect, and you know, if you remember when that thing was coming up, it looked like it was going toward Hueytown, north of the interstate. And we said, we can't, with these things, the way they're changing structures, we can't guarantee anything. If you're in Bessemer or Lipscomb, you need to be in a safe place. So we hope that they were able to hear that warning, and we hope that they got into a safe place.
Very unusual storms this evening with that double complex we had as it was entering Jefferson County from Tuscaloosa County. With
right.
The couplet that seemed to be the strongest, and then another one took over.
Yeah, and again, I'm looking at the radar. I see no evidence of any issues in Jefferson. Again, we stress the tornado warning for Jefferson County is expired. This is the only tornado warning in the whole state. This is one in effect for parts of extreme northeast Blount and western Etowah counties. And quite frankly, this thing looks totally disorganized. We'll go back to the main graphic system, kind of a big picture, if you will. And the good news, this thing is winding down up in northwest Alabama as the thunderstorms have kind of diminished. And slowly but surely after midnight, the threat of severe weather will diminish. What we got to do now, after this is all over, we've got to look at the state of the atmosphere and determine what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's see, this is still tomorrow. It's almost midnight. This is where it gets really confusing. We think there's going to be a second round of severe storms tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. The question is, how will the atmosphere be? Will it be supportive of tornadoes? Will it be a hail or a flood threat? We've got to review that overnight. So,
Day two, if you want to bring for tomorrow.
okay. Yeah, let's put the graphic system back up. We can do that, the main graphic system. This is the moderate risk for tomorrow. And a large part of Alabama is in this. This includes Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, all the way down to Mobile, and the standard slight risk is in effect for the entire state. The guys at SPC upgraded this at midday today, and again, we'll just have to look at it. We'll take a nap and we'll get up early and we'll take a look at everything and make a review on this, but there clearly could be a second round of severe storms tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Finally, on Wednesday, the dew points begin to drop and we're out of this. But this is one of these classic late April severe weather outbreaks. We have these on a regular basis. We have been very fortunate in that we've had hardly any severe weather here since January of 2012. And going 2 years without it, that's a long time. So we knew at some point we'd break loose. So let's go back to a large radar view, just kind of a broad view looking across the state. And let's see what and you can see how things are winding down over northwest Alabama, which is good. What's coming through Birmingham is really, really weakened. A little comma head feature coming through northern Chilton that might produce some damage. Notice how that thing is spinning right there. That could produce some straight line wind damage. And what's coming up in here into Etowah County is really weakened. Still, there's a tornado warning in effect. We don't want to lessen the importance of that. And there's broad rotation there. There's no doubt. We've got broad rotation coming up on Altoona and Walnut Grove, but it's not this, it doesn't look as organized as it did earlier this evening. And we'll see if the Weather Service will consider letting this one expire. And again, we've got rescues in progress at the Timberline West Apartments. That appears to be one of our big stories right now. This is in Bessemer, right behind UAB West Hospital. This is part of the tornado that came through there about 40 minutes ago.
They're also reporting, our department's reporting strong smell of gas in the damaged area, so there are
Gas leaks are common.
obviously gas leaks. And the Tuscaloosa Sheriff's Department is asking everyone to stay off the roads in the damaged areas of Highway 69 South, Bear Creek Road, and Hargrove Road. That reminds me of December of 2000.
Yeah.
December 16th one, right?
December 16th, yes.
Let's sit here and put some of this stuff out on social media. So our friends with the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Department, they are asking people to stay off the roads in some of the heavily damaged areas there, including Bear Creek Road, Hargrove Road East. That is the part of Hargrove Road that is down below Skyland, and some other parts. And again, I'm looking to see here the Weather Service in Birmingham, this warning. Now, here's a report coming from the Birmingham chat. Possible structure damage on Dow Drive in Aniana with possible injuries. Now, this was from the storm when it came through Aniana. This is what's moving up into Altoona, and at this point.
Skywatcher's also reporting the report of someone trapped inside of a mobile home that is now on top of a car on Dow Drive.
Hey, Thomas, let me confirm what you said. There's one confirmed. Okay. That doesn't correlate with the tornado damage. Is that from a law enforcement, Thomas, or where? Do you know where? Okay. The news department just told me in my ear there's been one confirmed death in Tuscaloosa, but I can't be more specific on where that happened or how it happened. Clearly, there was some significant damage that came through with that tornado through the southern part of the city of Tuscaloosa and the eastern part of the city of Tuscaloosa. But again, at this point, I don't know any specifics on that. But again, that is a report from our news department. I'm just passing that on. Beyond that, I don't know much more about that. So again, according to our news department, death has been reported in Tuscaloosa and confirmed. As soon as we get some, you guys back, if you guys can really help me on that, I would really like to know more about that. That's a report that we really need to be specific about. That would be very, very helpful if maybe Dave or Brenda could help me on that, because that's the kind of report I don't like to throw out there without any specifics. But that is confirmed from the news department. And I just don't know at this point anything beyond that. We like to tell you what we know. We don't want to tell you what we don't know. But again, this is the big picture. And again, we've got, let's see, the tornado warning in effect for Etowah. Mr. Peters, when does that one expire?
That one...
About 30 minutes.
I think it's about 30 minutes. 33 minutes.
So 12:30.
Okay. The death reportedly is in a collapsed house, and it sounds like it's in an area that didn't correlate with the tornado, so maybe it was related to, I don't know what it is. I can't confirm it was related to a tornado. I don't know, because where they're telling us there's a collapsed house, it doesn't correlate with tornado damage. So as soon as we get information on that, we'll pass that along. We got trees down around the Aniana Municipal Airport. This is again from the storm that is moving up into western Etowah County at this point. And the tornado warning is in effect until 12:30 a.m. That is for another 30 minutes. Good to see Charles Daniel here. You don't sleep either, do you?
I don't. I couldn't. I tried. I did all I could. I woke up about 5 o'clock and tried to go back to sleep, and It wouldn't work. So the National Weather Service has canceled that tornado warning for the folks in Blount County. So Blount County all clear for those folks, which is good news, but they are continuing that for Etowah County until 12:30, like we said. Now, this storm is actually moving significantly slower, James, than the rest of them this afternoon and evening, about 30 miles an hour, whereas before you're 45, 50, 55 miles an hour, some of the storms. So maybe the decreased speed helping out, keeping this one from maybe redeveloping at this point. But everybody in the path in the Etowah County needs to be in that safe place, including Altoona. It's near there now, continuing to move towards Rainbow City. So if you're in the Rainbow City vicinity or around even the Gadsden area, you might want to go ahead and take shelter and just be in that safe place. It doesn't include Gadsden, I don't believe, but just outside the city limits there. In fact, we've got our HD cam up from Gadsden right now. If we can switch to that, you'll see quite a bit of lightning here coming through. As on my way back in near the River Chase Galleria, that was when that storm was moving through the parts of Jefferson County, almost constant lightning, and that's what we're seeing here. Quite a bit of thunder and lightning, and of course, just as I say that, nothing's going to happen on the Skycam, but a lot of lightning on that.
That's my luck tonight.
That's what happens every time. But yeah, so folks, if you're waking up, if you're hearing this, a lot of lightning in the area, just be in your safe place. Go ahead and let this pass through for the folks out there in Etowah County. You are still under the tornado warning until 12:30. That's about 30 more minutes. It does not include the city of Gadsden. I do believe Rainbow City is not technically in there, but Ridgeville, Reese City, and Mountain Borough, Sardis City, Walnut Grove. You guys need to be in your safe place as soon as you can. So just go ahead and be in that safe place. Put as many walls between you and the exterior. You know the drill. And then we'll let you know when you've got the all clear. Aniana, you guys are clear. All good. Highland Lake, you guys are clear at the moment.
This storm, Charles, is we're getting additional reports from Aniana of trees down along US 231 south of Aniana, south of Airport Road.
Yeah, and that's
that storm that you were just speaking of there.
Yeah, numerous trees down, and again, just everybody give themselves.
What caused it, you know?
Wall collapse.
Okay, and we do have we of course have our reporters out in the field, and we have Candace out in Kimberly. Is that right, Thomas? Kimberly.
69 didn't go in.
Yes.
And so let's, if we can, let's get a check with her and see what's going on. Candace?
Yeah, James, we're here on Strouts Road in Kimberly. You can see behind me that the Kimberly Fire Station pretty much rubble right now rather. There's a lot of debris on top of the fire truck, a lot of trees down, power lines down. Right now it seems as if emergency crew are trying to set up a command post. Really, as I'm walking around listening to their conversation, it seems like their main priority is getting the roads clear. As we were heading down here on Highway 31, a lot of trees in the roads. They're wanting to make sure that the roads are clear so that they can get to these people in these neighborhoods and make sure there are no injuries. I'm told that as of now, no injuries to report. Nobody's been transported. But again, they want to make sure these trees and debris are out of the road so they can make sure if they need to get to somebody, they can. I don't know if we can roll the video that Chief Photographer Bill Castle shot earlier today, but there were reports of people being trapped in Kimberly Church of God. I did speak with emergency crew here on the ground. They said that everyone right now is safe. All is well, but earlier today we were getting these reports out of Kimberly Church of God. Again, we're here on Strouts Road. Lots of emergency crew walking around right now, and again, I think their main priority, from what I can understand, is getting these streets, these roads clear. We hear chainsaws in the background, but for all intents and purposes, the Kimberly Fire Station is no more. James, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, we are back on the air. Again, I'm James Spann. We thank you for staying with us. We've been on the air for a while, since 3 o'clock today. It's about to turn, in fact, it just turned into Tuesday. We still have one tornado warning in effect. This is in effect for the western part of Etowah County. The warning for Blount County has expired. And again, you can see this circulation that's very close to Altoona, and the Weather Service will likely keep this in place until 12:30. That's for about the next 30 minutes. This is a thunderstorm that is moving northeast, not very rapidly. And again, it's going through these reorganization phases, and it looks like the circulation is beginning to get tighter again here in the last couple of scans. That'll be coming up. Again, it's passed through Altoona, and that will keep on moving to the northeast. This will not affect the city of Gadsden. The tornado warning polygon begins at about Attala, west of Gadsden, but the court threat is going to be over the far western end of Etowah County, and this is in effect until 12:30. So we are down to one tornado warning polygon. And let me just say this again, confirming the death in Tuscaloosa. This is confirmed via Isaiah Harper, who's our reporter in Tuscaloosa. The police said it was weather-related, and this was at a house at 22nd Avenue and 15th Street in Tuscaloosa. I don't know if it's related to flooding or what. This does not correlate with the tornado position, but again, the police say that it's weather-related. So, according to Tuscaloosa police, we have one weather-related death in Tuscaloosa tonight off 15th Street. And again, as soon as we find out additional information on that, we'll let you know. Some of the bigger issues tonight have been up in the Kimberly-Morris area. You saw the damage there in that report. The apartments, the Timberline West apartments in Bessemer, this is an apartment complex near UAB West. There's been major damage. Apparently the roof has been taken off in spots with major damage, and there are Bessemer police officers on the scene checking to see if there are any injuries. The first report said possible injuries, but we don't have any confirmation of injuries there. And again, that is at Timberline West Apartments behind UAB West Hospital. We also have reports of numerous structures with roof damage around Highway 150, Carolina Avenue, Oak Street in Bessemer. We have trees down. This is from one of these tornadoes that got down briefly and caused some significant damage last night. And so again, that is some of the bigger reports that we have had during this severe weather event. But thankfully, we are down to one tornado warning. Again, let me give you another report. This is from John Talbot. First off, we have major gas leaks in the city of Bessemer. 2nd Avenue in Bessemer, heavy damage to structures and power lines down all over the place. Meaning, again, that's where a tornado came through. So 2nd Avenue in Bessemer, heavy structural damage, power lines down, and major gas leaks. So, Charles, you've missed quite a party here this evening.
Blount County SO is also reporting damaged homes and people trapped near County Highway 20 and Highway 231 in Blount County.
Oh, really? Okay. And again, that's from the storm that prompted the tornado warning for Etowah County. And again, all of these reports are really starting to flow in. But we want to stress, we've heard this one report of a fatality in Tuscaloosa that was weather-related. Beyond that, I don't know much about that. That this was 22nd Avenue and 15th Street, and this was according to Tuscaloosa police. That does not really correlate with where there was tornado damage in Tuscaloosa. So whether this was related to flooding or some type of straight-line wind damage, we just don't know that at this point. As soon as we get additional information, we'll let you know. In Tuscaloosa, it seems like some of the most significant damage is out around Bear Creek Road, Woodland Forest. The tornado in Tuscaloosa this evening took a path similar to the tornado December 16th, 2000. We don't believe this tornado was anything close to the size of that, but it's caused significant damage. We have trees down, roads are blocked, and again, we're going to be getting a briefing from the city of Tuscaloosa, I think about 1:30 with additional information. We should also point out that the Tuscaloosa County schools are closed today. All Tuscaloosa County schools are closed today due to widespread power outages and damage from the storms in various parts of the county. So Tuscaloosa County schools are closed today. Beyond that, I don't know of any other closings or issues or delays. We'll crawl that across the screen. Here's a look at our current watch warning situation. We've got the one tornado warning polygon left up here. This is for parts of western and northern Etowah County, also parts of DeKalb County and parts of Marshall County. Again, we stress this does not include the city of Gadsden. The polygon begins at about the city of Attala, and if you live in this part of Etowah County, we recommend you stay in a safe place, Charles. This is in the 1230, right?
Right. It lasts till 12:30. Includes Sardis City, you see there, Mountain Borough, as all the way down, really in the northern part of Attala. It's right on that line at Attala, over to Reese City and Ridgeville. Are the main communities now to be affected. If you're in the Altoona community, Walnut Grove, it is on top of you right now, and you need to be in that safe place. At this point, it's crossing over that 278 corridor along 179 there you see, and then stretching up towards Sardis City. So this is going to last until 12:30, so about another 23 minutes. And with the way these have been cycling, weakening and strengthening, James, I don't think they'll cancel this one. They're going to hold on to it all the way through, I would think. And again, you see that indication of rotation there. That's our storm track that shows up. And we've had quite a bit of lightning with this storm, but not as much as some of the previous storms or previous cycle of some of these storms. So as this continues to move to the north and northeast, it's moving a little bit slower. That's not necessarily a great thing, but it does help, gives you a little bit more time to react. But again, if you are in Altoona, if you are in Walnut Grove, you need to be in your safe place now. Folks in Mountain Borough, Ridgeville, Attala to Reese City, Sardis City, you need to be in that safe place immediately if you can, and get to that safe place and stay there. We'll give you the all clear, but this storm has a history of producing damage. We've got numerous trees down near the Aniana Airport, and in previous back down into parts of Blount County. We've got numerous trees down and reported across roads, damaged, and even a few folks possibly trapped in that. So again, we do have confirmed damage with this, and as it looks like it is re-strengthening, Brian, it does look like it's beginning to come back together just a little bit.
It does.
Everybody needs to make sure you're staying aware. This is our last warning at the moment. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning, however, to our south, some very heavy rainfall for the folks in Chilton County, and that is moving through Clanton right now. Folks in Verbena, as you get over towards Clanton into Jemison and Thorsby. Verbena, it's not quite to you yet, but very windy conditions here, very heavy rainfall, flash flooding, certainly going to be a concern for some folks as well. Now,
Got
some
a tornado
of the storms
warning
moving,
for Chilton and Coosa.
and this is the one we are just talking about, aren't we? See? And
I tell you, you guys are both bad luck.
Yeah, there it is.
Every time we
let me
got-
talk about your town, and then something pops up. Yeah. So let's see. New tornado warning for Chilton and Coosa County, and that is until 1:15. So it's an hour and 5 minutes long. This will pop up here on the map here shortly. Let's see if it's already shown up just yet. And as we get Brian some new batteries, there's our new tornado polygon until 1:15. That includes Chilton and most of northern parts of Coosa County. It does not include the city of Rockford. If you're along Highway 22 or to the south, you are fine. But that does include Weogufka, and we can put a track on this. Storm seems to be moving at about 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. So if we put a track on it up to about, let's say, 35 miles an hour, that does include Quincy, Gold Branch, and the folks in the Unity community. So do be aware of that. And this is the one we were just talking about, how it's going to get very windy all of a sudden. And then they are seeing the signs of rotation within that storm. James?
Okay, so it's 12:10, and we now have two different tornado warnings in effect. We've got one tornado warning in effect for parts of Chilton and Coosa until 1:15, and we have another tornado warning in effect for the western part of Etowah County. Let's go to the high-res radar. Let me show you what it looks like. This is the velocity display, and let's point out that for the Chilton County storm, the warning does not include Clanton. This rotation is on the other side of the Coosa River, and that's moving northeast. So this is going to affect the far eastern part of Chilton County and also a pretty good chunk of Coosa County. So this is a tornado warning, not including the city of Clanton, but parts of Chilton and Coosa counties. And if that hangs together, that might impact places like Goodwater, over
Quincy.
Quincy, the Highway 280 corridor. And let me show you the other system we're watching up here. This the circulation that is located around Altoona and Walnut Grove, it's been coming and going. We've seen it strengthening a little bit. It's been, you know, it has not been as extreme as it was earlier when this thing came over Aniana, but still, until 12:30, we recommend everybody in the western part of Etowah County to be in a safe place. So again, this is a tornado warning for western Etowah County until 12:30 for about the next 18 minutes. And we're going to keep a close eye on that. But obviously, the one that shows the tighter rotation is the one down here that is on the other side of the Coosa River that is located in the eastern part of Chilton County. So, and by the way, a couple of quick notes. A lot of rumors floating around about UAB Medical West. The nurse in charge at UAB Medical Center West told AL.com they're on backup power, but they were not hit by the tornado. We've seen all kind of, you know, rumors floating around here. But again, this is reported by AL.com. A nurse in charge at UAB Medical West says they're on backup power, but they were not hit by the tornado this evening. But behind the hospital, the Timberline West Apartments apparently has very significant damage. We have reports of gas leaks in Bessemer. We have reports of homes with roofs off. A lot of issues in the city of Bessemer. And also a lot of issues in Tuscaloosa. Sherry Evans is on the line. Sherry, where are you and what do you got for us there?
Hi, James. Well, we're in Tuscaloosa, and basically firefighters just told me that at least 2 mobile homes on Bear Creek Road were damaged. Thankfully, no injuries, but a lot of downed trees are making it impassable at this time. We basically just arrived at 22nd Avenue and 15th Street. This is where one person has been confirmed dead. Apparently a house collapsed. We're now at the scene, and we'll definitely bring you some more information as soon as we learn exactly what's going on. James?
And again, Sherry, if you can clarify, this doesn't correlate with the position of a tornado. Is this related to flooding or straight line winds, or do you know what was the nature of that house collapse?
We just arrived on the scene, so we're now just trying to learn some details. We're really not sure of the situation, but we'll definitely update you as soon as we learn more.
Okay, thanks, Sherry. That's Sherry Evans, who's in Tuscaloosa. So we've got several stories we're working. First off is Tuscaloosa, where there's been one weather-related death tonight. We have another story from Bessemer, where there's been apparently some injuries. We understand that the Bessemer Civic Center is being set up as a center for those that have been injured at the apartment complex, the Timberlake apartment complex, where they are taking those that are injured there. We don't know the number of injuries or the extent. And the other story is what's happened up in Kimberly, where they've had some damage. Also, Graysville had some damage tonight. We've had several hot spots where there was significant damage tonight. We've had some reports of damage in Blount County around Aniana from this storm. So it's been a very active night tonight from these tornadoes that have been relatively short-lived. They're not the long-lived tornadoes, but we're down to 2 tornado warnings, 2 tornado warning polygons right now. So again, you're looking at this circulation center. This is northeast of Clanton, moving through parts of eastern Chilton and Coosa counties. This is Rockford, so the tornado warning polygon does not include the city of Rockford. That's US 231 right there. That's US 280. It does include areas north of Rockford in Coosa County. So again, for areas in Chilton County, Clanton is not involved in this. It is for the eastern part of Chilton County and the northern part of Coosa County. The other active warning we have is the one up here. This is a storm that is rotating. It is in the western part of Etowah County. The city of Gadsden is right here. This is Attala. This is Reese City. You got Duck Springs up and through here. And again, this circulation has been moving northeast. The circulation is not as organized as it was earlier, but it's still capable of producing some strong winds. And the warning will be in effect until 12:30 for this storm. And again, I'm seeing some reports of structural damage, US 231 and County Road 20. This is in Blount County, some structural damage. And at one point, there was some entrapment. I've not heard of any injuries in Blount County. But again, that occurred earlier this evening as this storm passed over the city of Aniana. So again, it has been a very, very busy evening. and hopefully things will be winding down soon after midnight. It is, we're coming up on, let's see, 12:17, and again, this warning is set to expire at 12:30, and the warning down here in Chilton County is set to expire at what, 1:15?
1:15.
Yeah, so let's look at the big picture if we can. Let's go to the graphic system and see what we got here. This is the larger picture, and again, this is the storm that is impacting the eastern part of Chilton County and northern Coosa County, and that's the other polygon warning up there for parts of western Etowah County, and that's it. We have no warnings in effect for Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, or Anniston. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings down to the south for parts of Chilton, in fact, a large part of Chilton County, parts of Autauga, Dallas, Perry, and Bibb counties as all of this continues to move on down to the south and east. Here's a look at the radar, and again, you can see the individual storms continue moving to the northeast. Again, you can see that's the tornado that came through Bessemer right there. And again, if you go back and look at the images, it's pretty remarkable. These things flared with very intense circulations for a brief time, and then they just go away. They've had a history of that, so these are not the long-lived tornadoes, long-track tornadoes. These are short-lived tornadoes, but where they've touched down, they pack quite a punch. And what happens now, the Weather Service will send in storm survey teams during the day tomorrow to take a look at the damage in places like Tuscaloosa, in places like Kimberly, places like Aniana, and obviously in a place like Bessemer where there's been some significant damage. So, fellas, it just seems like the event is starting to wind down. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
All right, yeah, let's roll this video from Tuscaloosa if we can. And this is a house on 15th Street. 15th Street and 22nd Avenue. And again, you can clearly see the rain was torrential. We've had a lot of reports of flooding around campus there. And what exactly caused the collapse of this structure, I honestly don't know. That the police say that it's weather related, and beyond that, we just don't know. So we'll get some more specific details tomorrow. That did not correlate with the tornado track. The tornado track in Tuscaloosa came up through the southern part of the city, affected like Bear Creek Road, up through Woodland Forest, and places like that. So we'll find out more tomorrow. Let's roll some of the damage from Kimberly. This is up in the northern part of the county, and these are trees down. And, you know, one of the things, too, we need to point out, we had significant damage at North Jefferson Middle School. That's a really nice school building up there, and, again, we understand the damage was significant. Beyond that, we don't have any specific details, but this is a common scene through Kimberly, and people are cutting the trees and trying to clear roads. We've had reports of trees down tonight in Graysville. This is the Kimberly Church of God. We had the pastor on with us earlier, and they were using that actually as a tornado shelter, not in the main sanctuary, but there's some smaller places within the building where people were in that building tonight, but they were in a safe place, so they were fine. There were no injuries right there. And then on top of that, the fire station was pretty much destroyed up in Kimberly. And all of this is right off U.S. Highway 31. This is about 20 miles north of downtown Birmingham, up in the northern end of Jefferson County. Again, that is that's the fire station right there. And this happened earlier this evening from another quick-hitting storm. And these have been storms that they've gotten down. They have produced damage like that for a few minutes, and then they get right back up off the ground. Thank goodness. I mean, we are very thankful these were not the long-track tornadoes. Otherwise, this could have been a night that was much worse. We have the number of injuries. It's been we've heard of some in Bessemer tonight at the apartment complex. The apartment complex that is located near UAB West. That's the Timberline West Apartments in Bessemer. And we've had reports of some injuries in scattered pockets. And, of course, that one weather-related death in Tuscaloosa that doesn't seem to be related to a tornado, whether it was related to flash flooding or straight-line winds. We just don't know that. We'll let you know at some point. But, again, this is a possible tornado on radar that is moving out of the Coosa River and then moving up into northern Coosa County. This is Weogufka right here. This is Rockford. That's Highway 231. And this will be coming across the northern part of the county. And that will be a storm that we'll be watching carefully. This warning goes in effect until 1:15 this morning. And the other storm we're watching is the one that's up in Etowah County. If we could take a look at that one, this is the second storm. This has been a pulsing storm. We've seen it at times where it's very organized. At times it is not very organized, but we still recommend everybody in the western and northern part of Etowah County. And again, we stress this does not include the city of Gadsden, but right up in this region right here. And this is Highway 431, by the way. This goes up on top of Sand Mountain. This is Boaz in Marshall County. It's a very broad circulation. It's not especially tight. It doesn't look really tornadic, but still, based on the history of this thing producing damage in Blount County, it's advisable for people to go to a safe place. So again, for the next, let's see here, it is
about 8 minutes.
8 minutes. We advise everybody to go to a safe place. So Charles, looks like that 115 warning for Chilton and Coosa, that'll be the hopefully the last one this morning.
That'll be our main focus, but I still think a lot of folks need to know that we've been going overnight. We're still going to get some strong straight line winds into the early morning hours for folks over East Alabama, some very heavy rainfall still possible. And so early tomorrow morning, especially the areas that we know of damage, the commute's going to be a mess. It's early tomorrow morning where folks are trying to head out over in East Alabama. We may also be dealing with some flash flooding issues, so we still have some very heavy rainfall, especially to our south. And, you know, Brian, looking at we're looking at that southern storm in Chilton County. And if we can, let's take that wide view. So this is over the last 3 hours or so, and you can see still some heavier rainfall to the south. We'll still get some redevelopment. In fact, areas in northern parts of Jefferson and southern parts of Blount County getting some very heavy rainfall, areas that were affected by that possible tornado earlier this morning. And that is areas where we're going to have the biggest problems of cleanup, is where the rain is still very heavy coming down, causing those problems. So don't get out there. Don't try to see what's happened around. Just stay at home. Let the sun come up this morning. Let those first responders do what they have to do without you guys getting out there and trying to snap pictures and things like that. We want you to be safe. And you never know, if you're coming around a corner on a road, maybe 30, 35 miles an hour, there might be a tree across the road and you won't be able to see it or stop, things like that. So again, just a hazardous conditions out on the roads this evening. So don't try to get out there and see any damage. Just stay at home, ride this out until the sun comes up this morning, and then we'll be all doing a lot better. Of course, we've got that next potential round a little bit later on. As we switch over to the main graphic system, the one storm I think we're going to have to focus on coming up here will be this storm to the south.
By the way, that's footage from Graysville, Thomas, is that right?
From Graysville.
Yep. You don't need to get out and see it. We've got it.
Yeah, that right there. You don't want to come around a corner on the road and that be out in the middle of the road there. So again, a good idea to stay home. We don't need you out there taking pictures and things like that. We want you to be safe, and we just want everybody to make it through this okay. That's the number one thing. But right now, I think they'll allow this storm to expire, the warning to expire in Etowah County. No word whether they're going to carry that over into Cherokee, but they are reiterating that they're going to carry this all the way until 12:30. So we'll give it 5 more minutes approximately.
Etowah County warning has been extended till 1:15.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They just sent that through, didn't they?
Yes.
Just as
you
we
were
start
saying
talking about
that
it.
They might not.
Yep, I'm bad luck.
Every time this evening James has said we're
Right.
down to 1,
New one pops up.
a new one pops up.
So let's look at that. And there we see it here. Mountain Borough. If you're in the Mountain Borough community, you need to be in your safe place, Maryville. And that's going to include folks up in Duck Springs, from Reese City to Duck Springs up Highway 11. And almost all the way up to Scrouge out at this point. You can see they've extended it, and that does include Scrouge out. Folks in Turkeytown, you're fine. We've got a Skywatcher that lives up in that direction, Vic Bell, up in the northern parts of Etowah County. So I'm sure we'll be hearing from Vic here shortly. But Vic needs to be in a safe place, so do all of you. So if you're in Ridgeville, Maryville, Mountain Borough, all the way up to Boaz, you need to be in their safe place. If you're in Reese City to Duck Springs, all the way up into Scrouge out, you need to go ahead and get to that safe place as fast as possible. So get there, stay there. We'll give you the all clear. But of course, just as we were saying, they were going to possibly allow that to expire. They have continued that warning until what time, Brian? 1:15?
1:15.
So they are going to continue that warning until 1:15. And
Tornado warning for Chilton County has been canceled, though.
So Chilton is all
South.
clear. So Chilton County, you are all clear at the moment. We'll slide down and take a look to the south. Chilton County has been cleared. However, if you are in Coosa County, you are still under the tornado warning until 1 this morning. That does include Gold Branch. Quincy, you should be in the clear at this point. Marble Valley to Strickland's Crossroads, Weogufka in that. And that does include parts of 231 and Highway 280 on down the road. In fact, let's get a storm track on here, just kind of give you an idea of the time. So the storms are moving at about 35 miles an hour. So we stretched that out. Gold Branch, it'll be in your community in about 10 minutes. Unity in about 14. And folks in Weogufka, you've got about 20 minutes. Now, don't take that 20 minutes to go, I don't know, do the laundry. Take that 20 minutes to get to your safe place and hunker down. Now, you can turn that TV up as loud as it goes, or if you've got the 3340 weather app, you can actually watch the live video stream through the weather app in your safe place and see what's going on. You can follow with us, and of course we will let you know when you've got the all clear. So I'll say this again, for the folks in Chilton County, Clanton, Mineral Springs, all the folks really east of 31, you are in the clear. Gap of the Mountain, the storm was right on top of you when the warning was issued. You are in the clear at the moment, but for the folks in Coosa County, still under the tornado warning until 1:15 rather this morning, and that is going to continue possibly, and just like the storms previously this afternoon into the evening hours, cycle a good bit. So we're not out of the woods just yet. Just a heads up, folks in southern parts of Talladega County, just in case, if you're in Overbrook, Sylacauga, Childersburg, just a heads up, you may want to go ahead and start thinking about your plan of action should they extend this further to the north and east. Just be aware of that. For the folks up in Etowah County, as we slide northward, again, does not include the city of Gadsden, Rainbow City, you're fine. Folks in Steele, you're doing okay. Altoona, you should be in the clear at this point. The storm now is that area of rotation is covering over, or passing over rather, 431. And for the folks in Mountain Borough, you need to be in your safe place. That does include Reese City. Folks in Duck Springs, Crudup, Reese City, all the way over to Scrouge out, you need to be in that safe place. That warning was extended until 1:15 this morning. That is a tornado warning for the northern parts of Etowah County. Now, I know we do get some folks that view us from Boaz, so if you're in the Boaz community, you also need to be in that safe place as well. So just hunker down. We'll let you know when you get the all clear. And of course, these storms have shown a history throughout the evening hours of strengthening, weakening, then re-strengthening. We've seen them cycle off and on throughout the day. So this looks like we're in a strengthening trend at this point, and we may see this one continue to re-strengthen. Now, just because you live up, this is a very hilly area, Brian. We get into the hills there, and a lot of folks think, a lot of the old timers think that you can't have a tornado up on the mountains and the hills, but you can.
You can.
And so please, if you live up in the hills or even down in the valleys, just be aware of that. It does and can and does happen in that area, so in those areas. So just because you're on the hillside doesn't mean you're safe from this. So make sure you follow those safety procedures and seek shelter as well.
Tornado warning for Blount County until 1:30.
Okay, so we've got a new tornado warning for the folks in Blount County until 1:30. And you see it here. We're just talking about that very heavy rainfall coming through this same area. And let's see. Let's go ahead and put the data on here. Not a very well-defined rotation, but it's in there, and you can see.
In there.
All right, so for the folks in Pine Mountain, you need to go ahead. If you live along that 75 corridor, anywhere from really the southern portion of Blount County, from Pine Mountain, Inland Junction, Hendrick Mill, Armstead, Allgood, all the way up to Aniana. Now, this does include similar areas that were already struck tonight, okay? So if you've already gone through round one, you've got another round on the way, you need to seek shelter immediately. This storm is moving at about 35 miles an hour, very similar to the ones previously moving through. This one is radar indicated, capable of producing a tornado. And right now it's near Springville and moving to the northeast. Well, this says near Springville, but that's further to the south. This is using their text. But this one, again, near Pine Mountain, you need to go ahead and seek shelter as soon as possible. Brian?
Yes.
You looked. You had a look on your face like something was drawing your attention there.
Well,
there's the indication of the rotation on our map there that you see, and we'll put the radar back on. But notice the lightning, Brian. Oftentimes when we start to see a stronger updraft, you get the hail core development. A lot of friction going on there, and that's where we see that increase in lightning going on.
You pointed out that a lot of the lightning tonight has been pretty close to continuous, between a combination of the cloud to ground and in-cloud lightning. And that again indicates all the friction that's going on in the atmosphere between the updraft and the downdraft and the raindrops and small raindrops, big raindrops, hailstones. Although it's been amazing, we have not seen a large number of hail reports.
We haven't, and
a
that
few,
was interesting.
a few, but not what I would call. And we've got the National Weather Service is now saying there's a confirmed tornado near Holly Springs. Debris on radar.
Really? Okay.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just.
No, I'm going to switch over now. And James has the high res, and Brian, can you steal that on the Apple TV for us? And let's see if
I can.
let's do that. Let's see. Let's take a look at the correlation coefficient. I want to see if we're picking up anything out there. Sure are, and that's going to be right here. It's in the middle of your screen there, right there near Holly Springs. It doesn't show up well here as far as this goes, but sure enough, right near the Holly Springs area, there is a nice little spike of what is possibly tornado debris kind of showing up at that point. Slide further to the south, and it's going to be right there. And it's actually in that little notch, Brian, of
Yes.
the warning itself. So we can see it there. And Brian, if you could, let's drive that. I'm going to go to the wall really quick here.
Okay.
Let's get close on that. Let's show everybody what we're talking about. The warning in the warning text, it actually said Springville. If we can we take that? Can we chroma key that, director in the back? This is the warning right here. This is until 1:30. There's Springville right here. This is the area that we're talking about. Let's go back to that correlation coefficient, Brian, and let's zoom in as tight as you can on that. And it's that notch.
Right
wow,
there.
look at that next scan right there.
Right there.
And this is headed towards the Highland Lake community. Folks in Highland Lake, Allgood and Aniana, you need to be in your safe place immediately. Per the National Weather Service, they said confirmed tornado, correct? That's coming through on the National Weather Service chat room. So confirmed touchdown here. Again, debris signature showing up just north of Springville. This is actually traveling parallel to 59. And if you're in the Highland Lake community, you need to be in your safe place immediately. Allgood, Aniana as well. And this is going to continue to move to the northeast. It's saying 35 miles an hour, Brian. I think it might be moving just a little bit faster than that.
It could very well be moving a little faster. I'm trying to get this back on the screen, Charles.
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
You were good. But let's take that full screen. And again, if you're in the Highland Lake community, now is a time to take the plan of action. Get to your safe place. You know the drill. Put as many walls between you and the exterior as possible. A very good indication of tornado debris aloft in this storm.
And there's, I'm moving the cursor around right where, just to the southwest of Highland Lake, where the
Very
velocity.
tight couplet there.
It's not especially strong, but it is tight. But we always look at other factors too, and we look at the correlation coefficient. We see that that correlates superbly with the velocity couplet in there. So that is an indication that we've got debris being lofted. And in this case, the radar beam is close to 4,000 feet, Charles. So that is definitely bringing some debris up into the air. So again, I think good confirmation that we do have a tornado actually on the ground doing damage, causing destruction in that area.
Right. Let's switch over to the main graphic system here. You see we're very tight in on Highland Lake. This does include County Highway 27. If you live just to the southwest of Highland Lake, this is right on top of you. Look at these signatures, Brian. Inbound and outbound, we're looking at 100 mile an hour plus out, and maybe even a little bit higher. So we're looking at about 150 mile an hour gate-to-gate shear. And now this is just indicated, I know it's a loft, but at the same time, that stretches down to the surface very quickly, and if that rotation, it's very tight already. So you've always got to use that ice skater analogy. You know, when the ice skater brings their arms in, she spins faster. So as this tightens up, that rotation is going to continue to strengthen. Again, if you are in the Highland Lake community, if you live along County Highway 27, you need to be in your safe place immediately. This meets up with Boat Landing Road. Folks in Allgood, Armistead also need to be in that safe place. It's not too much further away from Aniana. Folks along between Aniana and Whitney Junction along 231. This is going to cross over there. Tate's Gap, Ferguson's Crossroads. You need to be in your safe place as soon as possible.
We're getting reports of possible injury on New Home Road in Blount County, tornado damage to a trailer with a possible injury to a female, and hearing reports from Blount 911, damage to a trailer with entrapment and other injuries. And those could both be the same report.
Right. So, okay. So we have reports of injuries. We have reports of damage, confirmed reports, and of course, strong signatures of a tornado, including possible debris aloft in that storm. So with that in mind, everybody in Highland Lake, you need to be in that safe place now. Holly Springs, you need to hunker down for a little while longer. Aniana, if you're between Aniana and Whitney Junction, right along Highway 231, you need to be in that safe place. That does include Tate's Gap, Horton's Mill, Ferguson's Crossroads, and Altoona down the road. And I'll take the radar information off. We'll put the warning on. It doesn't officially stretch into Etowah County, but I will go ahead and tell you right now, if you are in the Etowah County area, Altoona, Ferguson's Crossroads, you need to have a heads up on this. This is moving to the northeast at around 35 to 40 miles an hour right now near Highland Lake at this point. Now, I don't want to forget about the folks down in Coosa County. Again, we have another indication of rotation to the south. That does include an area near Weogufka at this point. If you're in the Gold Branch community, you need to be in that safe place as well. This rotation, Brian, not quite as strong as the other one. But still, we've seen these storms have been cyclical. They've been weakening, strengthening, and coming back.
This storm looks like it's more perhaps into a Boeing echo configuration, which means that you do have to worry about short and short-lived spin-ups that are on the northern side of that bow echo.
Right, the northern edge and in the apex, we get those there. So if folks in Rockford are okay, you're not officially in this warning, but folks in Weogufka, you are, and that is also going to cross over Highway 231 and Highway 280 here shortly. So folks in Weogufka, Strickland's Crossroads, Hanover even, just go ahead and be in that safe place. And again, we're going to continue to see that. It looks like now, interesting. Let's go back up here to the Etowah County storm. And, you know, we were watching, Brian, this storm as it's moving out of Etowah County. Wonder if we need to probably switch over to the high top radar. High tops, yeah, a little bit better indication of rotation here. This is actually in northern parts of Etowah County. Remember, they extended the time frame of that warning. This is near Duck Springs Smith Institute. As you get up, this begins to cross over outside of our viewing area. But again, Etowah County, actually indications of a debris there as well, Brian. So if you're on the high top radar,
I've just switched over to the high top radar.
Let's switch back over to the Apple TV, Brian, if you still got control of that.
I do, I believe. Yes, there we go.
There's the indication of rotation there, but let's look at the correlate.
We can see it right there, just circling it around.
Yep.
And let's see what we're seeing. And remember, the correlation coefficient means we're looking at
big spike right there. And that is right on the county line. That's near Smith Institute.
Right there. Yes.
Go ahead and pull that full screen right there, Brian, and then that way.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, very good indication. That's all right. Let's switch back over to the main graphics system real quick. Very good indication right along the county line. That is actually in very extreme northern parts of Etowah County. That would be a good indication of debris within that storm. And there's the rotation near Smith Institute. So again, this is actually just to the east-northeast of Sardis City. This is going to cross over into Rodentown, Arona, Flanders. You're okay, but this is going to be one of those that continues to be more cyclical in cycling. And again, reports of debris, or at least some good indications of debris there. And this is coming off the high top radar. And of course, that is an indication for the radar. We've got that other storm back to our southwest near Highland Lake. For this one, we'll have to switch back to the Birmingham NextRad data. But again, good indication of rotation near Highland Lake. We've also had the correlation coefficient showing a good spike of, oh goodness, a good spike of possible debris in the air. Then let's switch back to Brian's computer, the Apple TV. And this is the one that is in northern parts of Etowah County, just to the east of Sardis City. And that right there that Brian's pointing out would be a very strong indication of debris aloft in the storm. Most likely we were going to see some widespread damage in northern parts of county. Now the good news is there are some parts of that area that are very rural. But at the same time, lots of trees down on the roads. You don't want to be out trying to get out here and get pictures of this tonight. Just too dangerous for that. Let the first responders do what they have to do. Slide right there, Brian. Let's go right down there. It's not on the screen, so let's go ahead and center up on that one.
I was trying to get
the second storm. We have a confirmed report of a tornado in Blount County. This one is actually near, as you can see there, Highland Lake at the moment. And it's this one along County Highway 27 and County Highway 29. It's going to be traveling right along from Highland Lake, moving to the northeast. It is actually going to pass just to the south of Aniana. But folks, if you're in the Aniana community, especially just east of town along 231, you need to be in that safe place immediately. This one's moving to the northeast. If you're in Tate's Gap, you also need to be in your safe place. This one's going to move at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. And again, same thing, confirmed tornado. We've got a confirmed tornado on the ground in Blount County. And this is moving just to the south and east of Aniana. So if you're in Aniana, be in your safe place just in case. Along Highway 231, as you travel back down towards Whitney Junction, you need to be in that safe place as well. Highland Lake, you should have hunkered down about 5 minutes ago. That's just moving north of town. Give it about 5 more minutes and then you can come out of your safe place. If you're in Altoona, not officially within this warning, but I'm going to tell you right now that warning most likely will be extended into Etowah County, including Altoona, Walnut Grove. So go ahead and be in that safe place immediately, again, in those communities that we just mentioned. Now, we do have here's some good news. The Birmingham National Weather Service has canceled the warning for Coosa County. So Coosa County, you are all clear.
Good.
Chilton County, Coosa County, you are in the clear at the moment. Still some very heavy rainfall there and some windy conditions, but you are in the clear so far. So that gives us a time to focus now on the two warnings at hand. Now, the warning for Etowah County, the northern part of Etowah County, we saw a very strong indication of debris up there in northern parts near Smith Institute. That's going to be right along the county line. And again, this is the area that where we could see potential damage up here. Folks in the Smith Institute, or if you're along Sardis City, to the east of Sardis City, that Happy Hill Cutoff Road in that area, you need to just stay at home, ride this one out and let it clear. But the problem is now it's beginning actually to move out of our viewing area, which we're good with that. That lets us focus now on the other storm where we do have a confirmation. And Brian, it looks like now this one's, it is technically outside of our viewing area at this point.
It does look that way. And the velocity on the Highland Lake storm in Aniana, just to the east of Aniana, the velocity couplet is looking weaker. So this may be cycling down. Despite the fact that we have a debris, a TDS, a tornado debris signature in that area. Of course, the debris can stay aloft even after the tornado itself has diminished or has ended on the ground, because the debris is thrown up into the air. So, and we're looking at a radar beam that's about 4,000 feet off the ground. So we're looking at a significant height for the debris to have been lofted.
All right. And so let's switch back to the main graphic system. We'll see that warning here. Again, for the folks west of Highland Lake, I love how they trim this out. If you're in Aniana, you are clear, all good, clear. Holly Springs, clear. Goodwin's Mill, clear. Highland Lake, still stay in your safe place. If you're in Aniana, or at least east of Aniana along 231, I should say, you need to be in that safe place. That does include communities like the Champion community, anywhere along County Highway 29, County Highway 20 up towards Tate's Gap, Hood's Crossroads, and then stretching further to the north, really, it's an awkward polygon. I think this is moving more towards the northeast. I'm just kind of surprised they didn't include that one section of Etowah County here. But if you're in the Ferguson's Crossroads or Altoona area, you do need to make sure you stay weather aware. No warning for you officially, but you do need to keep your eye on the sky and what's going on. Stay aware of what's happening just to your west as the storm is continuing to move more towards the north. So we do have the one tornado warning. This is really for Blount County until 1:30, I believe. Is it 1:30?
I believe it is. It's 42 more minutes, yes.
Yeah, Blount County until 1:30. And again, it does not include the city of Aniana, but it does include the community of Champion just to the east. Folks in Tate's Gap, you are in the path of this storm. We do have confirmed tornado per the National Weather Service, and we do have major indications of debris aloft in this storm. So do be aware of that. Don't venture outside. Make sure you stay in your safe place. Anywhere right along 231, and I'll say from Aniana to Whitney Junction, if you're in that path, you need to be in that safe place. Again, put as many walls between you and the exterior as possible on the lowest level of your home. That could be a basement, it could be the lowest floor, it could be a bathroom. Now, if it's a bathroom on an exterior wall, make sure you get in the bathtub, cover your head, use pillows and blankets. You know the drill. But it's time to act at this point. Now, the good news is the Birmingham National Weather Service has canceled the warning for northern parts of Etowah County. We saw a very good indication of debris with that one just to the east of Sardis City. That has moved outside of our viewing area now, which is good news. That warning has been canceled. Now we can focus on this Blount County storm that we're looking at right now. And again, the signature, the rotation,
It's not impressive.
Not impressive anymore. It's really kind of falling apart. But that doesn't mean you're clear. That just means this storm, again, cyclical. It's weakening. It's in a weakening stage at the moment. We may see this re-strengthen, but you see here still a good broad rotation within that storm. And I'm still surprised. It does touch on that Etowah County line, that little boot heel there of Etowah County. So I'm surprised it hasn't been issued there, or at least just expanded ever so slightly. But again, this is our one, and oh gosh, I hate to say it, this is our
Please
one
don't.
tornado warning at the moment, and that does include that just extreme eastern sliver of Blount County. Now, again, as we look at the wide view, that's our one warning at the moment, eastern Blount County. No other warnings out there, but that doesn't mean we don't have some very heavy rainfall at the moment across the board. So do be aware of that. We still have the chance for some very heavy rainfall. That does include Chilton and Coosa County. Some heavy rain along the 65 and 31 corridor headed south from Clanton. If you have to be headed out here shortly, just give yourself some extra travel time, especially in those areas through the evening hours that have seen damage reports. There's going to be a lot of trees down that first responders may not be able to get to and clear before that early morning commute. So extra caution on the roads this morning as you head out if you have to. If you don't have to, or we're just advising that you stay home as long as possible.
And this worsens the situation for today, for later today, when we have additional rain, because the rain that has fallen, Charles, has been quite varied. Radar estimates are anywhere from as much as 5 inches of rain down to some spots that only had just a few tenths of an inch. So there's quite a bit of variability, but all of that adds to problems with the threat for additional flooding tomorrow, or today. It is today. Tuesday. I need to speak in terms of days here. Tuesday, because the ground has really been hit hard with all of this rain. So if we're not having flash flooding going on right now, and we don't seem to have indications of any of that, but the ground has really been saturated with this rain that's moved through. So we're talking on the order of anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain so far. And so tomorrow, if we get, or today, if we get additional thunderstorms and additional heavy rains, that's going to just aggravate the situation and create more flash flooding because the ground can't absorb anymore.
Right, and we talked about that a lot this morning, that areas across the board could see anywhere from 5 to 6 inches of rainfall tonight, and we're expecting another several inches. Right now, the heaviest of that rain is through Coosa County, Weogufka, stretching almost to Rockford, back over into Clanton as you get into Chilton County and to the south, and that's where we have our heaviest rainfall. The one warning we have here is in that northeast corner of Blount County. That is a tornado warning until 12:30. We'll get back into a closer view of that here soon. Still some moderate to heavy rainfall in spots in northern Jefferson County, areas where we've seen some damage. We've had damage reports in Bessemer, back over to Tuscaloosa, numerous reports through parts of Blount County, and then also some spots in northern parts of Etowah County. We've seen some trees down. And Brian, you've been here longer than I have this afternoon into this early morning hours. You know more than I do, but as far as the damage reports that have been coming in, but they're numerous. Folks in the Woodland Forest community in Tuscaloosa, I used to lifeguard at that neighborhood back in college, so I know exactly where they're talking about. And again, that is going to be an issue. That's a very similar track to that December 16th tornado in 2000.
Some of the same roads.
Some of the exact same roads, Bear Creek Road. Again, at this point right now, that one warning up here in Blount County, folks, I'm going to go ahead and say this. If you're west of 65, if you live to the west of 65, you're good for the night, okay? Most of the storms are over with at this point for you. You're good for the night. Rest easy. Take care. Be safe. Don't get out on the roads unless you absolutely have to. Tomorrow morning, if you're headed into work, take it slow. Folks to the east of 65, a little bit different story. We still have a few thunderstorms redeveloping, going through cycles. That does include the Blount County storm. Some heavier rainfall beginning to move up towards the Fort Payne area. So if you're traveling along 59, do be aware of that. Folks in Gadsden, not necessarily out of the woods just yet. Folks in Anniston, some light to moderate rain. Heavy rainfall down in Clanton, Verbena, up to Weogufka, stretching back into southern parts of Talladega County now, and also into parts of Clay. So again, just be careful out there if you have to be out, but if you don't do it. So Brian, let's take a closer look. Let's zoom back in on this storm here up in Blount County if we can, and we'll take a closer look, maybe switch over to the velocity products here, but let's zoom in tight on that storm there. We'll just go ahead and get in close. And again, signatures of this storm as it passed to the east of Aniana. Now, right now, it's actually above 231. There's Aniana, 231. Folks in Steele, you're not included in that warning. Here's the county line, that little boot heel of Etowah County. Folks in Altoona, not necessarily in the warning. But Brian, it's right along that county line from Blount to Etowah County. So
it's going to run. It looks like it's going to stay on the Blount County side, but it's pretty close.
It's pretty darn close. So if you're in Altoona, if you live in Altoona or just to the west of Altoona across that county line, you need to be in that safe place. And let's bring it this way just a hair, a little bit closer to me. There we go. And zoom in a little bit tighter, Brian, and we'll get a closer look at this. And again, if you're along that 132 corridor from Altoona back down towards Aniana, you need to be in the safe place. Folks in Susan Moore as well. And again, right now, some very heavy rainfall, maybe even some small hail in there. And Brian, I know, let's, if you want, we can take a look at that correlation coefficient and see what's going on there. I'm going to step off here for just a second. We'll pull that up, and I might actually steal that from you. You know what? It doesn't look as impressive. In fact, we've lost that major spike or signature that we had earlier near the Highland Lake community. But again, this is going to be real close. Now, folks in Sneed, folks in Susan Moore, you are not technically in the warning itself.
Sure.
So you are not technically in that warning if you're in Sneed or Susan Moore. Aniana, you are clear. All good. Clear. Cleveland, clear. Folks in Altoona, not technically in the warning, but you need to keep a heads up on this one because it is very close to your community. That also does include the folks in Walnut Grove. So I'm not just ready here to let those folks out. Now, it looks like, Brian, we've got a new tornado warning for Etowah County. Is that correct? Am I seeing that? New tornado warning for Etowah County until 1:45. And that's going to be this same storm. This is the one they're going to go ahead and include, moving it toward the east. Northeast at around 35. Yes. So just as we were talking about it, they have issued a new tornado warning for the folks in Etowah County until 1:45, which does include the folks in Altoona, Walnut Grove, the cities we were just talking about. And that's that same storm that does have a history of producing at least some damage near the Highland Lake community, crossed over 231 just
Charles,
headed up towards Altoona.
Montgomery Drive in Aniana, Apparently, tornado damage has been confirmed there. Same general area includes Lowe's Drive and Blakely Road as well.
Now, we don't know if that's this one that just occurred or moved through, or if this is the one from earlier this morning or this evening,
no,
right?
they're saying this is a second hit. So this
is the
apparently
second one.
The second one, the one we've just been talking about.
All right, so the one we're focused on now, we do have reports of damage at Montgomery Drive in Aniana. This is the second time these same areas have been hit earlier this morning. So good call on that, Brian. So again, let's take this information off. We'll take the velocity data off the screen there, and you'll see here. The first warning for Blount County ends at 1:30. The next warning crosses over into Etowah County. This is what we were just talking about. Wondering kind of why they haven't issued that one yet, but they are carrying that one until 1:45. It does include the folks in Altoona. Now, if you're in Altoona, Walnut Grove, and Harrisville, you need to go ahead and take action, seek a safe place immediately. This does have a history of producing damage, like Brian was saying.
Moving northeast at about 35 miles an hour, so not terribly fast when it comes to the forward speed of some of the tornadoes we've seen today or some of the thunderstorms we've seen today, but certainly a respectable speed nonetheless.
And the velocity, now I'm actually looking at it from the high top radar. This is out of Huntsville. Just always good to get kind of a second glance of the two. And I'm going to switch back to the Birmingham velocity product here.
Yeah.
And
Velocity is not looking nearly as bad.
right, it's
as
not
it was.
as impressive, but like we've seen, it just takes one, maybe two scans, and all of a sudden it's back to a
Going
very
the other
tight
way.
couplet and re-strengthening quickly. So right now the rotation area of concern is near Altoona. Again, along 132, folks in Walnut Grove and Harrisville need to take action immediately. This does include that 278 corridor, really from Walnut Grove all the way back over towards Atala. Folks in Susan Moore, you're fine. It does not include you in Blount County, but more now stretching over into the Etowah County area, and this will begin crossing over that county line. So again, anywhere along 278 between Atala and really Sneed, 278 from Atala to Sneed. If you're in that area, you need to be in that safe place. Now Sneed, it doesn't officially include you, but along that corridor area, you do need to be in that safe place. Now this is a similar path, Brian, as the storm we saw that just exited Etowah County, where we did see a re-strengthening, and we saw a pretty impressive debris signature on the radar earlier.
That's what's happening with a lot of these storms. They're going along very close to the same path of a storm that had just passed just maybe a couple of hours before. We're hearing reports now from Blount County 911 of numerous trees and power lines down, and I'm assuming that is going to be east of Aniana in the Highland Lakes area, or perhaps a little to the northeast of the Highland Lakes area.
Yeah, that's going to be probably in that southern portion from Highland Lakes, almost to Aniana 231, back up to almost Ferguson's Crossroads, and then Tate's Gap area. So those are the areas of major concern. Now this is crossing over into the Altoona area. Brian, I'm going to let you drive.
Okay.
And again, if you're along 231 all the way up to 278 now at this point, Walnut Grove back over to Atala, you need to be in your safe place. That does include the folks in Altoona. You need to go ahead and hunker down, put yourself in that safe place, put your plan of action now at this point. This does include anyone along 132 from Altoona, back up to Harrisville, Walnut Grove, back over to Atala. And again, Brian, let's throw the velocity signatures on there if we can. And really, so far, it's not that impressive at this point. It's more of a broad rotation. Of course, we're looking now from the Birmingham radar, red moving away from, green towards the radar. And Brian, if we can, maybe get a pixel scan on that. If we can, maybe right here, a brightest red to the brightest green, and we'll see sort of what our gate-to-gate shear is. And now earlier, as this was near Highland Lakes back in Blount County, it was close to about 150 miles an hour as far as the gate-to-gate shear. That's inbound and outbound added together. The storm itself, storm forward motion, is about 35 to 40 miles an hour. So again, we've seen some pretty good broad rotation. And are we going to get that on there?
Well,
we'll get it here in a second.
I'm seeing velocity of 35 inbound and 6 outbound. So, or I'm sorry, reverse.
What's that?
The velocities, I'm getting it over here.
Here, let me check it out real quick. Let's see. Right here, and velocity, we'll see.
Okay,
that hot spot there, and that hot spot there. So
you got about
not,
50, about 57.
Well, there's a spike of 53 right there. So maybe topping out about 80, 85 miles an hour, I guess, as what we're seeing on there. So, but again, that's a broad rotation. If we saw that, Brian, pixel on pixel,
yes,
we'd be much more concerned. And again, that's
the velocity is it is broad. So.
Again, it was right in here, was about 30, 35 miles an hour. And then to the south, we had this 50 pixel showing up. So a very broad rotation of about 80, 85 miles an hour. And again, this is moving towards the north and east. Now, this tornado warning for Etowah County is until 1:45. Current time right now, Brian, is, I'm going to let you call
101.
that out. 101. So we've got a while for this one to go. And again, we've seen this moving over a similar path as the storm previously. The first storm caused damage. Second storm caused damage back into parts of Blount County. So again, we have reports near Aniana, folks in Highland Lakes along the 231 corridor, some issues there. So we've had reports of damage to the south out of the second storm. This is moving to the north, a broad rotation, a very similar indication of what we saw earlier. Then as the storm moved into northern Etowah County, or as this storm moves into northern parts of Etowah County, we may see this re-strengthen near Sardis City. So folks in Sardis City, just east of town, we saw some pretty good signatures of debris aloft in the atmosphere just a little while ago. That storm warning was canceled, thank goodness, but this one now may re-strengthen. We'll be keeping a close eye on it. Looking at the box here, you see the wide view of what's going on. We still have some very heavy rainfall. Let's just switch gears and take that full screen, the radar behind me, and we'll show you, talk about what's happening in the overall picture, if we can. And again, some very heavy rainfall in Chilton, Coosa, parts of Clay, southern Talladega counties. That's going to be some problems there. And actually, let's Director, let's just switch those boxes if we can. Let's just put that radar behind me, the one that's looping, and switch gears if we can, and we'll talk more about that.
There you go.
There we go. And let's take that full screen if we can. And right now, again, some heavier rainfall as what we're seeing here in Clanton. Some very heavy rain from Clanton down to Verbena, over to Weogufka, Rockford. You're about to get some heavy rain as well, moving through the southern parts of Talladega County. Again, the one lone warning that we have right now for Blount County, I'm going to go ahead and say most of Blount County is clear at this point, unless you live right along the county line. Now that's shifting more into Etowah County, where we have the storm that does have a broad rotation to it, does have a history of producing damage. That one's going to continue to move to the northeast, anywhere from Attala. Folks in Sardis City, Altoona, you need to be in that safe place. And again, that storm's going to continue to push northeastward at about 30, 35 miles an hour, maybe a little bit faster than that. And there you see it here below me. You can see this is the storm in question. And again, broad rotation as we look at the relative velocities here. And again, it's relative to the position of the radar. That's very important to know. Let's switch those back if we can, Director, and we'll see. This is the broad look at that storm now entering into Etowah County. And again, this is the area.
And this is high top, Charles.
And you're looking from the high top radar.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the high top is now getting much closer to this cell than what the Birmingham one is.
Okay, okay. Let's take the storm velocities full screen, Director, if we can. And I want to take a look and a closer look at this because we're getting a better picture now from this storm system in near Altoona at this point. And again, this is the live sweep. You can see it here coming from Altoona. Crossing over 278, that corridor stretching from really Gadsden all the way back up towards Brooksville, but it's not that area of concern. It's right here, really along the county line, back over. And Brian, let's tighten up from Altoona back up to Mountain Borough, then you get into Sardis City. Those are the folks that need to be wary of this one. This is where we have those outbound winds. You know, we get the red out away from the radar, green inbound. And again, anywhere along 278, 179, 132, you need to be in that safe place. This is moving towards the northeast. And again, just like what we saw earlier, storm not less than an hour ago, re-strengthening in the northern part of the state. We saw a good, strong indication of debris aloft in that storm. Of course, on that correlation coefficient, if I could say that this morning. But that is going to continue to move towards the northeast. And again, this warning for the folks in Etowah County is until 1:45. It does not include the folks in Gadsden, Rainbow City, or Southside. You guys are clear. In fact, Brian, let's throw those warnings on there, and we can show that at least the polygon for the folks. It's going to be down on the bottom of that that list. It's warnings. There you go. And again, from Altoona all the way back up to Sardis City, back over towards Scrouge Out. Folks in Reese City, northern part of the town there in that. But again, it does not include folks in Gadsden, Southside, Rainbow City. If you're in Turkeytown, you're fine. It's really right along that 431 back over to 227. It's really 227 to the south, then Highway 11 through Etowah County and to the northwest of there. So again, if you know your roads, that's going to be beneficial for you. But Altoona right now, you need to be in that safe place. Sardis City, you've got just a few minutes to act and get to that safe place right now.
It's along in northwest of Interstate 59.
Yes, right along the Interstate 59 to the northwest.
To the northwest
corridor,
of that, yes, yeah. Just another way to describe it.
That's probably a better way. But
I don't know about that.
Absolutely.
But the rotation really is looking less. It's looking broader. I mean, we still have strong inbound, strong outbound, but we're certainly
still very broad at this point. And then really for the folks in Walnut Grove and Harrisville, stay in your hunkered down position in Altoona as well. Whitesville, Mountain Borough to Boaz even. This hasn't stretched over into those counties, but it's close enough that it's going to, at least you're going to feel the impact of this.
I wouldn't be surprised if they might, fully involved Whitmere Drive. House fully involved in fire. Not sure if it's weather related or not.
Do we know where that is? It says Whitmere Drive, a house fully involved fire. Again, could be or could not be weather related. With all the lightning we've seen,
I'm surprised
we haven't seen more of those. We've seen quite a bit of lightning with these storms. In fact, we could probably put a lightning indicator on here, and you notice those two batches here.
Yes.
As you get up really in that northern part of Cherokee County. Now, there's no warnings in Cherokee County, but really Cherokee and you get into parts of Marshall County, there's just a lot of lightning. And again, a lot of that is an indication of oftentimes a strong updraft. It just gets that friction going. You build up that static electricity, that electrical charge in the storms. And again, we've seen these batches of lightning to our south as well. Folks, where we've been talking about some heavier rainfall down in the Clanton area, some more very heavy rainfall here. And again, that really stretches in. It's so much lightning, we just have to take it off. You can't even see what's going on below that. But
Whitmere Drive, yes.
Whitmere Drive, okay. And that was in Blount County.
No, this one's in Blount County. Yes, okay. The problem is we have different Whitmere Drives in different counties. But
yeah, so this one,
this one is in Blount County is what I'm being told.
Whitmere Drive, fully involved house fire. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if it was due to the fact of some lightning causing this. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that. But if you're, right now I want to mention, again, we've seen some very heavy rainfall, Brian, some areas indications of 4, 5, even 6 inches of rainfall.
Yes.
In southern portions of Chilton County right now, from Verbena on down as you get into Marbury, over into Coosa County, Rockford, some heavy rainfall along Highway 22 all the way back into Chilton County, and then folks up into Weogufka, some very heavy rainfall and almost constant lightning there. So don't venture out unless you absolutely have to. The roads are going to be dangerous, not just because of everything else going on, but because of some very heavy rain moving through the area, and that will continue into the early morning hours. So do be aware of that. Right now we do have the tornado warning for the folks up in Gadsden right now, in Etowah County rather. Folks in Gadsden, you're clear. Let me clarify that. But the warning does include Altoona.
And the Weather Service says they're going to let they're not going to mess around. They're going to let the warning continue.
Okay, so they're going to let this warning ride, even though
yes.
What we were talking about earlier is a very broad rotation moving through here. The rotation weakened as it entered into Etowah County. However, as far as these storms go, they've had a tendency to re-strengthen at a very rapid pace. And we saw that earlier in northern parts of Etowah County near Mountain Borough, Sardis City, just to the east of town there. So they're going to allow, the National Weather Service out of Birmingham is going to allow this tornado warning to go through to its full extent, which is 145, correct,
yes,
Brian?
Correct.
So 145. Now, as far as the Blount County storm, that Blount County storm is going to hang out at least a little while longer. Now, Blount County, I'm pretty sure the storm is out of there for you, okay?
I believe it is, yes.
The tornado warning should be allowed to expire here shortly. It is set to expire at 1:30. Most likely that will be allowed to be cleared here in a moment because the storm at this point is in all Etowah County at this point. So if you're in Aniana, you're clear. Highland Lake, you're clear. All those areas at Tate's Gap, you're clear. Along that 231 corridor, you're clear. You can come out of your safe place, but don't try to venture out, okay? Let first responders do what they have to do. We do have reports of damage in the area and trees down in multiple locations. So again, roads are going to be treacherous, and that does include that Tate's Gap area. So do be aware of that. Now looking at the wide view, and I know we haven't talked about this yet, just to mention
Tornado watch.
the tornado watch. Really, anybody west of 65 at this point, you're clear. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you're doing good. If you're west of Interstate 65, Hamilton, Haleyville, Coleman, Jasper, Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, folks over in Aliceville, Gordo, anywhere in Vernon, you're clear. Fayette, you're good. You're good for the rest of the night. You can rest easy, take care, have a good night's sleep, and just be careful out there tomorrow morning as you head into work. Folks to the east of Interstate 65, we still have the tornado watch in place, and that watch is until, was it 4 o'clock this morning? 3 o'clock.
I believe it's 3.
So 3 a.m. We still have the tornado watch in place until 3 a.m. Now, as is customary, the National Weather Service will begin to clear those west to east as they are no longer in the threat. So do be aware that, again, if you're west of 65, you're good. West Alabama is in the clear right now as far as the rest of the night goes. Still quite a bit of thunder and lightning for folks to the south in Chilton and Coosa County. Very heavy rainfall moving near Rockford right now. And then we do have the one warning that we've been focused on over the last few minutes. That warning is primarily going to be in Etowah County now at this point. And as we zoom in and take a closer look, it's this storm that is west of Gadsden. Gadsden, Rainbow City, south side. You are not in that warning. You are not in that polygon. Folks in Altoona, Steele, up to Reese City and Sardis City, you are, and you need to be in that safe place. Actually, Steele, you are not, I should say. But again, folks in Altoona, this storm is going to be just to the north of you now. But anybody in Walnut Grove, Howelltown, Harrisville, Aurora, all the way up into Mountain Borough, you need to be in that safe place as soon as possible and let this one pass by you. Again, the Weather Service has already told us they're going to let this one ride out until the full length of the warning until 1:45 because of the history of these storms. They've had a history of strengthening, weakening, and then spinning back up. And we saw that with another storm just a little while ago in this same area. And you know, my laptop is over near at the wall. Brian, if you can, let's take a look at that correlation coefficient once again. And again, that's an indication of debris high up in the atmosphere, that debris lofted by a possible tornado. And we've seen good indications of that out of this storm. That was back in Blount County. And yeah, go ahead and steal the Apple TV if you can, if you don't have it yet, and if you want to make that full screen. But you know what? It looks like now, almost if there is any debris here, and I'm looking at the Birmingham radar, that it might be almost aloft near Boaz. That's going to be further north of the storm itself.
Well, now remember, we've got to have a correlation with where the velocity couplet is, and I'm just not seeing that.
Yep.
So that is not likely to be.
That's not related.
However, the storm that's in DeKalb County, just to the northeast of Collinsville, is beginning to spin up, and this is based on the BMX radar. Let me change over to the high top radar because it's closer, and we'll get a little bit different. Oh yes, that is certainly a different view of, and the DeKalb County storm has got a tornado warning as well.
I think they just issued that as well.
They did.
So
they did just issue it. But the one in Etowah County coming up just to the west of Ridgeville is going to be going up. Looks like it's going to cross just to the south of Mountain Borough.
Right.
In Sardis City.
And in fact, Brian, if you click on that little that storm track right there, that'll give us a general timeline.
31
if you can
knots.
see it there. So
yes.
around 123. It should be just to the east of Sardis City in Mountains-Boro. This is that same area, Brian, where we saw the spin up very quickly in the northern parts of Etowah County just as it moved northward. This is that same storm we were talking about earlier that had strong indications of debris aloft. So we know this is that following that same track. The storms are training one after another over the same spot. And again, if you're in the northern parts of Etowah County, remember, I know you get up in these mountains up here. A lot of old timers think that you can't have a tornado up in those mountains, but you can, and it does happen. And we want you to be in that safe place anywhere. Really from Sardis City down to Reese City. Now, technically, I think Reese City you're okay, but folks in Gadsden, you're not in the warning, but you most likely are hearing those sirens going off from time to time. This storm is continuing to move to the northeast at about 35 miles an hour. So again, broad rotation within this storm, but like we've seen, a tightening up of that rotation very quickly. We'll see that one possibly within 1 or even 2 scans. That rotation tightens up, the velocity couplet gets very close together, and again, we may see this spin up once again. So everybody in the northern parts of Etowah County needs to just go ahead and stay in that safe place. If you're in Blount County, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and give you the all clear. That warning will be allowed to expire on time. Folks in Walnut Grove, Altoona, you should be in the clear now. And then really, folks from Atala, you're doing good. Reese City, maybe just give it a little bit more time. But as this continues to move to the north and east, again, folks in northern parts of Etowah County, including Mountain-Boro and Sardis City, you need to be in that safe place. Reese City, you are in the polygon. This should pass to the north of you, but if you're in the northern part of town, go ahead and hunker down and just let this one pass by as it continues to move off to the north. Brian?
Well, once again, Charles, looking at the high top radar, the velocity couplet is beginning to show signs of strengthening once again. So this cyclical nature that we've been seeing all day today or all day yesterday and into the early morning hours this morning, that cyclical pattern is occurring, which means there may not be a tornado occurring at this very moment, but the Weather Service was deciding not to change the warning because of what we've experienced so far today, and that this down and then back up fairly quickly has been a pattern with these storms that has just been there.
And this storm is actually almost mirroring exactly what happened with this storm to the north and east, which has prompted another tornado warning for the folks. This is outside of our viewing area up here, but again,
we're not getting anything in the way of with that storm near Ridgeville.
Right.
Between Ridgeville and Mountain-Boro, we're not getting anything in the way of correlation coefficient. We can't use this up here at Albertville. It
just doesn't make sense. They don't go together.
We have to have a velocity couplet, and so the couplet is here. So when we see something in that area with a correlation coefficient, we feel confident that we're getting debris being lofted. But we have to keep in mind, too, that the radar beam is approaching 5,000 feet at that particular location. So
even from the high top, which is the closest one
to it, yeah. So, well, and you got to keep in mind that high top radar, the base of the high top is higher, which puts the beam a little higher. So you have to keep that in mind. But definitely showing signs that it is ramping up just a little bit with a strong inbound velocity, which I would expect to see because of the strong southerly flow that we've been having all day and into the nighttime hours.
Now, the National Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning for Blount County.
Yes.
Blount County is all clear. The only tornado warning we have for the moment is for Etowah County. That is until 1:45. That's the storm we've been focused on here for the last few minutes. Now, this is going to be west of the city of Gadsden. Folks in Gadsden, you are in the clear. Folks in Southside, Rainbow City, you are in the clear, but you don't want to be out there venturing out. So just keep that in mind. And of course, we've been watching this stuff through the afternoon, just kind of re-strengthening. It's very cyclical. We'll see the storms die out, re-strengthen, and fire back up. And that's what I think is going on here with this particular storm. As it came out of Blount County, it weakened significantly as it moved into Etowah County. We saw a good indication near Highland Lake in Blount County of debris aloft in the storm. Very tight rotation, debris aloft, a confirmation, I believe, of a tornado through the National Weather Service.
Yes.
And again, this is now starting to show signs of a strengthening rotation, beginning to get a little bit tighter. And again, we'll watch that for the next few minutes. That warning is lasting until 1:45, so about another 30 minutes or so As we look at the big picture here,
24
still
minutes.
some very heavy rainfall to the south. Folks in Chilton and Coosa, Clay County, folks in southern parts of Talladega County, some very heavy rainfall. That's going to be headed over towards Alex City soon. If you're traveling along Highway 280 southbound, it's going to be a mess of things down there as far as the rainfall goes. And again, we've seen some areas that have seen 5 to 6 inches of rainfall, at least radar estimates of 5 to 6 inches of rainfall. And we're going to add to that. Now remember, this is round 2 of a forecasted 3-round event. We were very lucky, Brian. Yesterday,
I'm glad this is not a 10-round fight.
yes, indeed. I'd be knockout already. But this is round 2 of a 3-round event, okay? Round 1, early Monday morning. Thank goodness we got rain on Sunday. I think that really kind of worked over the atmosphere just a little bit, gave us a little bit of time to get a break. And we saw a few showers, a few thunderstorms early Monday morning. Brief break from the rain into the afternoon hours. We even got some sunshine yesterday that helped destabilize the atmosphere. And Brian, I was looking yesterday afternoon, some of the Cape values yesterday were like 1,800. And that's, of course, we're talking about potential energy there. The
Yes.
Cape was just amazing in some spots yesterday. The problem now, Brian, is how much have we worked over the atmosphere tonight? Do we have enough time to recover for a round 3 later this afternoon? I do think we get some heavy rainfall. I think that's going to be the primary concern for our next event this afternoon, Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, a flash flooding event.
I think so too.
But at the same time, we still have a chance of seeing more activity such as this.
Well, we got to keep in mind that from about 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, that's this morning, through 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning, we are still in a moderate risk of severe weather. So the flash flooding threat becomes even worse with round 3 because of what has happened in round 1 and round 2. So all of this is just piling up, and we're getting a cumulative effect of this. So in addition to that, of course, we're going to have people that are going to be doing recovery kinds of things and trying to salvage some property. And we're going to get additional storms later today and into the nighttime hours. Right now, I haven't looked at a lot, but I think it's going to be on a time frame of the mid-afternoon through evening and into the overnight hours once again, Charles.
And unfortunately, this is the #1 reason we say you have to have a weather radio. James and Brian and I, we can't knock on that TV screen and wake you up in the middle of the night. It has to be something like a weather radio or a smartphone app, a weather radio app. We like the IMAP weather radio because it does sound an alert. You hear that weather radio voice. It tells you what's going on. And then you can turn on the TV and find out what's going on. I tell you, if you've got one of those weather radios, it's been going off an awful lot this evening, especially if you don't have it programmed. But if you do, it's going off. It'll wake you up. You'll jump out of bed. You'll realize what's going on very quickly with that siren. But again, right now, that's the #1 thing. The #1 concern during the overnight hours is this: do you have a way of getting those warnings? You can't rely on those outdoor sirens. They just don't do a good job, especially if there's not one nearby. You're not going to hear it. Okay, so that's why we say with another round on the way. Maybe you got lucky tonight. Maybe you were able to sneak through. Possibly go pick you up a weather radio this morning and go ahead and either get it programmed or just let it ride it out through the night tomorrow with a weather radio. That it's going to go off an awful lot. But again, we do have another chance of severe weather tonight. Let's zoom in, Brian, and let's take this full screen, Director, if we can, and we'll focus in on this particular storm. This is the warning that we have right now. And again, folks in Walnut Grove, you've been cleared. As you get over near Altoona, you are clear. This is still moving to the north and east. Notice maybe more of an easterly track there, just slightly more easterly. Not by much as we look at that storm track. It's not a major concern. But if you're anywhere from Mountain Borough, Sardis City, just to the east, there you need to go ahead and be in that safe place. We do have that tornado warning. And again, this is one of those areas where we've seen the storm weakening as it moved out of Blount County. We do have confirmation of damage back into parts of Blount County, just to the east of Aniana. The storm weakened as it moved into Etowah County, but still a very broad rotation. This warning really will last until 1:45. The Weather Service says they're going to keep this in place until 1:45 this morning because the storms have shown a tendency to cycle and re-strengthen, and we may be seeing that beginning now as we've looked at this from the high top radar. Brian's been doing a good job of switching back and forth, and it's always good to get a different vantage point. We can look at this storm either from Birmingham or the high top radar. And you know, Brian, I don't know. It doesn't look as impressive.
But that's Birmingham. Let's
okay, yeah. Switch over to high top if we can.
Switched over. I'm going to go back to high top.
Zoom out and switch now. That's much more impressive.
That is much more impressive.
That's much more impressive right there. There's your couplet right in here. Again, just to the east of Sardis City. Brian, this is the same track that previous storm moved through. Let's tighten up on this just a little bit more if we can. And again, if you're in Mountain Borough, Sardis City, just to the east of town, as you continue to see this pushing to the north and east, again, this is really tightening up just a little bit, Brian. Same spot that we saw happen earlier this morning with that same storm that caused another tornado warning down the road. We saw good indication of debris aloft within this storm earlier. We might be able to pick that up here on the correlation coefficient if we switch over.
Let's take a look at that and see. See, we're not getting
much. Nothing yet.
Not really.
And again, that's about what, 5,000 feet above the ground there?
That is just a hair over 4,000.
Okay, so 4,000 feet.
But still, you know, it would take a fairly substantial tornado to loft debris up to that altitude. So, and keep in mind, we can have a tornado occurring on the ground before debris actually gets lofted up enough for the radar to pick it up. So it's one of those things we can't warn on. We have to, it's confirmation that what we're warning on is really producing some damage.
All right.
Looking at the reflectivity is now beginning to look a little less organized. It's not quite as organized as it was before in terms of hook echoes, but again, with the velocity that we're looking at, we have to be suspicious of this. And I think the National Weather Service's course of action here of just continuing, let the warning continue since the warning is already out, is a good thing. So anybody in the Sardis City, Mountain Borough areas, and to the east of those cities, you're still have a risk, and you should stay in your shelter for another probably 15 minutes at least.
All right. Now, Brian, we were talking about some storms to the south producing some heavy rain and gusty winds. The National Weather Service now has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for the folks in Clay, Coosa, and Tallapoosa County until 2:30. And Brian, let's switch over to the main graphic system if we can. And here you see the convective outlook. This is the new day one. This is for tomorrow morning from 7 a.m., right, Brian?
Yes.
Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. until Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. And again, we have another moderate risk, which does encompass a good chunk of the state. And that will be mainly tomorrow afternoon into early Wednesday morning. That would be round 3. And I do think we're going to see some very heavy rainfall with that, and flooding will be a major concern. So, Brian, if you could, let's switch us over to the radar here, and let's take a look and zoom in. I want to get close in on that severe thunderstorm warning to our south. And again, it's due to some very windy conditions. Now, mainly, I think it's going to be winds of 60 or 70 miles an hour. And you see it there. And let's tighten up on it if we can. And here it is right here. There we go. And again, looping radar, very heavy rainfall from Rockford back over to almost to Alex City. Folks in Sylacauga, I don't believe you're included in that. But some windy conditions with this as it's moving through, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. If you are in the path of this storm, you're going to really hear that wind whipping up. The problem, remember, winds of 60, 70 miles an hour. Doesn't matter if they're in a straight line or going in a circle. It's going to cause similar damage. Tree limbs down, even some small trees, areas that have seen some heavier rainfall. The root systems of those trees get weakened, and that will cause some trees to go down with those straight line winds. Anywhere along 231, that very heavy rainfall to the east. Folks in Ashland, Lineville, you are in the path of this storm. It does not include the city of Sylacauga. They're already past you at this point. Getting close to Sycamore, though, I do believe. Folks in Alex City are about to get some very heavy rainfall there. And again, this is until 2:30 this morning. Winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour indicated within this. Primarily, it's going to be some very, very heavy rainfall. And Brian, I bet if you put the lightning on there, we'll see a tremendous amount of lightning right along that 280 corridor. So I know a lot of folks are going to wake up like, hey, what the heck is going on with this storm as it approaches my area? And as far as the storm system goes, it's not a tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning really for the
Whoa.
that's new.
I
Let's
just saw
see.
that.
Just popped up.
That just popped up. Just came in.
Let's see. Let's take a look. This is for Clay County, of course. You can see it there. A tornado warning for Clay County that includes the city of, let's see, capable of producing a tornado. So right now, Doppler radar indicated, and it is moving to the northeast at around 25 miles an hour. Tornado warning for Clay County until 2:15. So
2:15.
2:15. So now we have 2 tornado warnings in the area to keep an eye on. And they've actually issued another one further to the south, Brian, in Autauga and Elmore County.
We'll back out a little bit
So
you can see.
let's get the wide view there. This is the Clay County storm. This is the Autauga and Elmore storm. This one is until 2:30. We also have the one in our area. This is Gadsden until 1:45. Current time now is about 1:32, maybe 1:31.
Yes.
So we've got a little bit while longer on that storm up there in Etowah County, which we did see signs of strengthening. Brian, let's zoom in on that polygon and let's get some of the cities on there. Get in tight so those cities pop up. But that is going to include Ashland and Lineville.
Yeah, Clay is until 2:15.
Yeah, Clay until 2:15. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, tornado warning, new warning issued for the folks in Clay, and that is until 2:15. This one is very near or just to the north and east of Parkdale at this point. So if you're in the Parkdale community, you need to tight on that, Brian. And as you get in closer, some of those cities will pop up. But again, Ashland, Lineville along Highway 77 there, Ray's Crossroads, you see it there, Carmill. Again, this is these are the folks that need to take shelter immediately. In fact, Brian, let's pull it just to the right, just a hair. If you're in Roselle, you need to be in that safe place. 148, that corridor there, stretching back up towards Ray's Crossroads. That continues up towards Ashland, then Lineville. And again, this warning is until 2:15. Current time is 1:30 or a little bit after. This storm here showing signs of rotation. And let's throw the let's put on the radar product. Let's go ahead and put on the reflectivity. This will work. You know what?
Okay.
That's a good indication.
Sorry.
That was a good indication right there. And again, this is from the Birmingham radar. There it is right there. If you're in Roselle, you need to be in your safe place immediately. If you're in Carmill, you've got just a few seconds to react. Go ahead and get to that safe place. If you're in Ray's Crossroads, put your safety plan of action, put it into action right now. Go to that safe place as soon as possible and get to that shelter immediately. Good indication there on that couplet, Brian. As it's moving to the northeast there.
Very good. Not the best we've seen today, but certainly a good one. And that's out there in the Talladega National Forest too, Charles. So there's
that's good news.
That's good news. Yeah, it's
the problem is we may see quite a bit of extensive damage and never see a picture of it.
It's quite possible. I've taken that route from Sylacauga over into Talladega County on 148 a number of times. It's very scenic. But I imagine with the thunderstorms and rain going on, it's very dark if you're driving out there right now. With very few buildings and no streetlights.
And my big concern here is that we could have something on the ground and nobody's going to see it until it gets to Ashland. And that's going to be a concern. So if you're in Ashland and Lineville, you need to be in that safe place immediately. The community of Carmill, Ray's Crossroads, you need to be there now. Now is the time to get there. But again, it is a very rural area, a lot of trees in this area. The problem, I think, though, really is that we may not see anything or hear or get confirmation from any sky watchers or storm spotters until it's too late. And so that's why I take this very seriously. If you're in Ashland and Lineville, those are the two biggest communities that are involved within this this warning itself. But a tornado warning for the folks in Clay County, that is until 2:15. And Brian, I don't want to forget about the folks up there in Etowah County. We still have that one until 1:45. That was showing some pretty good signs of some redevelopment as we slide northward there. And you know, that one just might be out of the county by now. It's getting pretty close.
It's getting pretty close.
And right now, again, it would be, if it was, it'd just be to the east of Sardis City, maybe even to the northeast, getting out of here, almost getting up into DeKalb County at that point. So I don't think it's quite out of here yet, but if you're just the east or northeast of Sardis City,
yes,
go ahead and you need to stay in your safe place. If you're in Ridgeville, Reese City, you're in the clear. If you're in southern parts of Etowah County, Altoona, you guys are clear. Anywhere along 278 and to the south, you're fine. You can come out now. You can go ahead and get out of your safe place. Don't venture outside just yet, but again, you should be okay at this point. Still some heavy rainfall through Sardis City and Mountain Borough.
Charles, the Weather Service just canceled the tornado warning for Etowah.
Good deal. Good deal. Just as we were focusing on it. That's good. I really think it's out of the county now at this point. So Etowah County, you are in the clear, and that means we can turn our attention back to that pretty good couplet that was back down in Clay County. Brian, let's slide on back down to the south. And like you said, this is a very rural area, a lot of trees, the Talladega National Forest. The problem here is that we may not get confirmation of this on the ground until
Still have reasonably good couplet there, Charles.
too late. Yeah, and you know, we can zoom in a little bit tighter, Brian, and the cities will pop in there.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. So folks in Roselle, Cartmill,
Rays, Crossroads.
yeah, those are the areas of concern at the moment. Some small communities, but hey, you mean just as much to us as the big ones do. So you need to hunker down, okay? Get in that safe place, put as many walls between you and the exterior as possible. You know the drill. Get to that safe place. Make sure you grab your emergency kit on the way if you haven't already, and just go ahead and stay there. It's going to be just a little while as this passes through. You know, I'm going to take a look at that storm just on my products here on my laptop. But again, I really am concerned for the folks in Ashland and Lineville because we may not get a confirmed touchdown here until it's almost too late. But we do have this tornado warning for Clay until 2:15 this morning. That's going to be approaching the Ashland area within about, I would say 15 to 20 minutes. So you've got about 15 to 20 minutes before it gets to Ashland, maybe about 30 before it gets to Lineville at the most. So go ahead and put your plan of action into motion. Keep going here and hunker down. And then, of course, we have that severe thunderstorm warning for Clay, Coosa, and Tallapoosa County. Some very heavy rainfall and some gusty winds there. And I think, Brian, you're driving that there. So
Sorry.
no, go right ahead. And
I was just going to try to give a summary of the warnings. Still have the tornado warning for Clay. And again, I think that is until 2:15.
2:15,
It is
correct.
2:15. Severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Coosa and Tallapoosa, and then down in Autauga and where parts of Autauga and Elmore we have a tornado warning in effect. Of course, it's out of our market area, but
Right.
severe thunderstorm warning is in the yellow for parts of Tallapoosa, Coosa, and Talladega.
yeah, and even well, the severe thunderstorm for Clay, Coosa, and Tallapoosa.
Yes.
You know, winds of 60, 70 miles an hour. I mean, that still does enough damage that you know, we might see some trees down because of that. We've seen some very heavy rainfall in these areas, and like I said before, the root systems, the structures of the trees, the root balls get weakened as the soil becomes more saturated. It doesn't take that much to push some of them over. So that's why when we see some of these older oak trees that get knocked over, just what seems like not necessarily a strong thunderstorm, you can see some of these older trees get pushed over because the root systems are weakened. But again, so take the severe thunderstorms, take them seriously. We can still see quite a bit of damage out there. It doesn't matter if a tornado or straight line winds knocks a tree down in your house. You're still going to be upset that a tree got knocked down on your house, and hopefully you're in your safe place, just being cautious and watching these closely. But again, the good news is that most of the warnings have really been allowed to expire either before they've actually gone through their full life cycle, which was excellent. But now we do have the one warning for the folks in Clay County, including Ashland and Lineville, and that's going to be until 2:15 this morning. And this storm itself isn't a fast mover. It's only moving into the northeast at about 25, I'll give it maybe 30 miles an hour, which does give you time to go ahead and get to that safe place. Folks in Ashland, Lineville, Millerville, and Spring Hill need to be in their safe place. Brian?
That's all right, Charles. I was just going to say I misspoke earlier. I mentioned Talladega. I was thinking Tallapoosa, and I said
Right.
Talladega.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Did not mean to upset anybody.
You've been up for a while, Brian.
yeah, I I think from last week or so. I'm not sure.
And again, here's the polygon in question. Here's Ashland, here's Lineville, the two major communities within the polygon here. The rotation itself is actually further back to the southwest. In fact, we could probably put that on there and take a little bit better look. Some very heavy rainfall here. Not a good indication of circulation there.
Looks like it's diminishing quite a bit, Charles.
Measly at this point, near Carr Mill. Now, if you're still near Carr Mill or Ray's Crossroads, we want you to be in your safe place, even though this signature doesn't look as impressive at this point. But like we've seen, the history of these storms over time have had a tendency to re-strengthen, go through life cycles. So again, if you're in Carr Mill, you need to be in your safe place. If you're in Roselle, you're fine. You're clear at this point. You can come out of your safe place. Ray's Crossroads, go ahead and get there now. Ashland, Lineville, you guys need to be aware of the situation and go to your safe place. And again, we'll keep a close eye on this. Now, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning, which does include Clay, Coosa, and that parts of Tallapoosa County, including the folks in really in Alex City. Some very heavy rainfall there. And Brian, let's put the let's go ahead and put the reflecting back on. And there you see it there. And let's take that full screen, Director, if we can. And again, this is the area that we're talking about for the severe thunderstorm warning. Not only just the tornado warning, which headed toward Ashland, Lineville, but the heavy rainfall and gusty winds, that's actually getting closer to the folks in Alex City. If you're really in that western corner of Clay County, the severe thunderstorm warning, really for you, the severe weather is over with as far as that point goes. Folks in Coosa County, most likely you're going to be cleared from that here shortly. Goodwater, the rain is beginning to lighten up. Some heavier rainfall for the folks in Alex City, but that does include the folks down in 280. So further to the south, as you get down towards Alex City, some very heavy rainfall. Goodwater, the rain is beginning to lighten up for you. We'll see some heavy rain near Goldville. And then, of course, we're continuing to watch that tornado warning in Clay County, and that is allowed to go till 2:15 so far. The National Weather Service has cleared Coosa County. That's good, out of that severe thunderstorm warning. So good news there. We're starting to see a few more tornado warnings spinning up to our south, Brian, in the Montgomery viewing area, which is good for us. Let's put it that way. I don't want to see any more around here. I'd like to get this out of here. But again, travel further to the south may be impeded if you're headed out that way early this morning because of possible damage out of these storms. And we've seen numerous reports from Tuscaloosa all the way through parts of Jefferson County into Blount County, Etowah County. We've seen damage reports coming in. And again, we just want everybody to be safe tomorrow morning. And don't get out that door unless you absolutely have to before sunrise tomorrow. Let these first responders do what they have to do. Try to stay out of their way. Let them do what they've got to do to get people. Of course, we've heard some rescues going on during the overnight hours and other things. So
we're going to roll some video from earlier in the evening, Monday evening. Now we're now into Tuesday morning. And whoops. And there is, that is the that's the Kimberly Church of God, and significant damage there. Fortunately, there were no injuries. There was a meeting apparently going on there, but no injuries in that structure. That looks like much of the sanctuary was lost in that particular church. High roof structures don't usually fare well in tornadoes, and it. And the fire station, I think we've got some video coming up on that of the fire station. Yeah, there's the fire station. Looks like fire truck may have survived okay.
Let's hope the crew is okay as well.
Well, we know they were. They were out there searching for folks in the Kimberly Mobile Home Park. That looks like part of the fire station. I'm not completely sure, but I think that, yeah, that is part of the fire station right there.
Yeah.
That took a beating, definitely. Notice the hoses are okay.
The hoses.
That's all right. And you can see the rain coming down pretty good as well. Again, I think one of the big problems we're going to have later today, Tuesday, that is we're going to have a problem with additional heavy rains and more flooding issues, as well as that of the severe weather. There's a summary of the warnings that are in effect right now, including the tornado. Whoops, we've got some more video there. This is this is on 15th Street in Tuscaloosa. Is that right? Yes, okay. And we understand a person died at this location when the part of that structure apparently collapsed. Not sure, it's being classified as weather related, not sure exactly what. There's the estimated precip, and definitely have had some pretty substantial rains. Now, I think there might be some small hail contamination. We didn't get many reports of hail.
Right. There may be even hail or even just debris.
Well,
contaminating that
yes,
as
it's
well.
quite possible that it did that. But obviously, you're putting on some numbers there. Obviously, we're looking at probably a good 1 to 3 inches of rain over a fairly large area.
And we're not finished with it yet. We're still adding to some of these totals, especially over East Alabama.
Yes.
So,
This is Graysville earlier tonight. Car country up there in Graysville. Damage, and looks like a tree down there, I believe, or uprooted. Yes. We appreciate the photographers getting out in the wet and getting some of these images so that you can see what actually went on. That warning is that warning getting close to coming up here, Charles?
well, we'll take a closer look at it here in a second. It wasn't looking very healthy for a few minutes, so I wanted to show you some video and show you what some of the damage that we've seen across the area. The tornado warning for the folks in Coosa County, I believe I'm sorry, take that back. Coosa County was cleared from a severe thunderstorm warning. That was earlier. Clay and Tallapoosa are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Then within that, we had the tornado warning for Clay County.
which is expired.
And they have allowed that to expire, correct. Yes. And so I believe they have expired that one, which is good. They actually canceled it much earlier. We were talking about how that rotation did not look healthy. Again, severe thunderstorm warning for parts of well, really Clay and Tallapoosa County now. At this point, we've got some very heavy rainfall at the moment moving through the area, some strong windy conditions, wind gust of 60 to 70 miles an hour moving through here. And the next closest tornado warning is actually much further to our south. That would be Montgomery County. And good news for us, Brian, I think we're good right now. We are actually outside of all the warnings at this point. Let's go.
Please don't say we're down to 1 warning. That seems to be the kiss of death that we've had all.
You said it
all evening. No, I didn't. James said it, and then something would happen. But
well, let's do this. Let's go back to the wide view, and let's put on that looping radar if we can. And there you go. So we do have some warnings to our south. We still have some very heavy rainfall in pockets, especially to the southeast in Coosa. Well, really. Coosa, Clay, Tallapoosa County, that's going to be headed over towards Randolph. Folks there need to be aware of that. And we'll continue to see some of that windy conditions as well. So wind gust of 60, 70 miles an hour, not out of the question with some of these storms. But it's 1:48 at the moment. And, you know, I don't know what programming we're in. If the director could talk to me, we'll hang on to this for just a few minutes. We might as well go ahead and ride this out till about 2 a.m. and make sure they don't reissue on anything. I don't want to send it back. Okay, I don't want to send this back and then all of a sudden they're going to issue a new warning. So let's hang on to it for just a second. But still some very heavy rainfall, some strong thunderstorms, and a lot of lightning, Brian. Let's throw that lightning on there.
Absolutely.
And this is a 1-hour loop, I believe. And again, you just see the tremendous amount of lightning. Now, Brian, we've had one report of a possible house fire that might be weather related, and that might be related to the amount of lightning that we've seen. Tremendous lightning. In fact, earlier this morning, you know, I was coming back in earlier, and it was almost like daylight. It was almost constant cloud to ground and cloud to cloud lightning, and it was just lit up like a pinball machine. And that's what we're seeing here. So you're continuing to see that. The good news is if you're waking up and you're in parts of really Coosa, Clay, Tallapoosa counties, Randolph County, you're waking up to all this thunder and lightning. Right now, the only thing we have going is a severe thunderstorm warning for Coosa and Tallapoosa County due to strong straight line winds, okay? So no active tornado warnings at the moment, which is excellent. The tornado warning for Clay, which we were on for just last little while, has been canceled. The tornado watch, however, is in place until 3 a.m. And again, we need to stay weather aware, at least through the morning hours. Folks, west of Interstate 65, you are clear at the moment. In fact, Brian, let's take the radar information off. if we can. Let's take that radar information off. We go back to the warnings. Now here's the severe thunderstorm warning for the folks in Clay, Tallapoosa County, and that is until I believe 2:30. But there's a little button down there, Brian, says warnings 2 down at the bottom. You can little radio button you can push there. That should put on the information as far as who is still left in the watch zone. Do you see it there?
Well,
Let's see really quick.
that one?
Yeah, that one. Go ahead and click on that.
Yeah, it just gave.
It didn't do anything. All right.
Well, yeah, it gave the line.
Okay, it doesn't show it all the way. But again, we are still under a tornado watch over in portions of East Alabama until 3 a.m. this morning. So not completely out of the woods. But if you live west of 65, folks west of 65, Jasper, Coleman, Hamilton, Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, you are in the clear for the rest of the night. You're good. You can sleep tight. Folks in Anniston, still a few strong thunderstorms to your hay, though, at the moment. Now, we still have some strong thunderstorms through parts of Coosa, Clay, Tallapoosa counties. We're going to continue to watch that. And, of course, we've had numerous reports of tornadoes and damage through the overnight hours. We've got our crews out and about trying to get video, trying to get that information. We don't want you out there. We've got to let those first responders get to where they need to go and do what they have to do to get everybody safe. We don't need anybody adding to that, so don't try to get out there and do any sightseeing. We've got our crews out there getting us all the pictures that we need to get. And, of course, we'll have an update here coming up on Good Morning Alabama, which begins at 4. For now, I'm meteorologist Charles Daniel. For Brian Peters in the Weather Center and Chief Meteorologist James Spann, we're going to go ahead and give it back to programming. We're going to stay here and monitor the situation for the rest of the night. No sleep for us, but you rest easy, and we'll be back on the air if anything breaks.
Physical therapist use, and it's wireless, reusable, and easy to use. Turn on Smart Relief and turn off pain.
Like clockwork, every 20 minutes, I clean the toilet.
Sometimes they get up in the middle of the night and clean the toilet.
Every time you go, new Lysol No Mess Max cleans for you. Get max cleaning and freshness with every flush. Lysol, start helping.
Meet Mary. She loves to shop online with her debit card. And so does Bill, an identity thief who stole Mary's identity, took over her bank accounts, and stole her hard-earned money. Unfortunately, millions of Americans just like you learn all it may take is a little misplaced information to wreak havoc on your life. This is identity theft, and no one helps stop it better than LifeLock. LifeLock offers the most comprehensive identity theft protection available. If Mary had LifeLock's bank account alerts, she may have been notified before it was too late. LifeLock's credit notification service is on the job 24/7. As soon as they detect a threat to your identity within their network, they will alert you, protecting you before the damage is done. LifeLock has the most comprehensive identity theft protection, guarding your social security number, your money, your credit, even the equity in your home.
My years as a prosecutor taught me that we all need to protect ourselves from crime. In today's world, that includes identity theft. It's a serious problem. We all have to protect ourselves.
While identity theft can't be completely stopped, no one works harder to protect you than LifeLock. You even get a $1 million service guarantee. That's security no one can beat. You have so much to protect and nothing to lose when you call LifeLock right now and get 60 days of identity theft protection risk-free. That's right, 60 days risk-free. Use promo code NOTME. Order now and get this document shredder to keep sensitive documents out of the wrong hands. A $29 value, free. Don't wait until you become the next victim. Call 1-800-996-0890 for 60 days of LifeLock identity theft protection risk-free and get a document shredder free. Use promo code NOTME. Call 1-800-996-0890 now.
Is gray facial hair giving you the look you don't really want? Tone it down with new Touch of Gray Mustache and Beard. Now you can reduce your gray without getting rid of it all, so you get the look you want. New Touch of Gray Mustache and Beard.
Tell you a story may seem hard to believe in, kind of deceiving. All of my glory made me much more aware of the problem we share. If we united
All right, Gone Girl is one of the hottest books of the year. It's still in the top 10 on the New York Times bestseller list and has now been released in paperback.
It's the mystery of a marriage with a twist you'll never see coming. The book, so popular, it's about to become a movie starring Ben Affleck. ABC's Amy Robach sits down with the author to take a look inside.
It's the literary phenomenon that sold over 6 million copies and landed on the New York Times bestsellers list for 79 straight weeks. Gone Girl, a dark thriller that has fans still lining up nearly 2 years after its release. The Can't Put It Down page-turner examines the murkier side of marriage. Ironic, since its author is very happily married with a young son and baby number 2 on the way.
You were a newlywed at the time of writing this. How did that go over with your husband?
Do I need to worry? I had to be very careful, not, if we'd had just had an argument or something, not to go straight downstairs and
That's
start.
a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me one moment.
The book was so buzzy, actress Reese Witherspoon quickly snapped up the movie rights.
It's not good enough for you? It's not even close.
The lead character is being played by Ben Affleck. The haunting trailer went viral when it was released a couple of weeks ago.
Maybe the face I can't forget.
What an amazing thing. You have Ben Affleck playing Nick. That has to be just a dream come true.
It was, it was really wild because first of all, the book did better than anyone thought. So, it became this kind of cool thing.
It has been a remarkable journey for Flynn. Laid off as a writer for Entertainment Weekly back in 2008. A few years later, Gone Girl, on the cover of that same magazine.
It was like, I'm back. It
Bigger
turned
than
out
ever.
okay. I wish I could have told myself, 4 years ago, like that, get this. Like, I know right now you've been laid off, but 4 years from now, there's going to be this movie based on a book you have yet to write.
Gone Girl is now in paperback, so it's likely going to reach a whole new audience. It's got to be so exciting as an author.
It's so exciting. So it's this really wonderful thing when it goes out in the world and kind of takes on its own life.
Amy Robach, ABC News, New York.
What a story. She's laid off. She basically, like everybody else who gets laid off, thinks, oh my gosh, I'm really deep.
What am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
4 years later. Check her out.
She's on the cover of the magazine that later on.
I want to see this movie.
Yeah, looks good.
Every day, more Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.
I haven't filed my tax returns in a number of years. A revenue officer showed up on my door. I didn't know what to do.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, and they filed a tax lien on my property. It ruined my credit.
I own a restaurant. We own a restaurant and owed payroll taxes. The IRS levied our business bank account, and we couldn't pay our employees.
I got paid on Friday, and I saw that the IRS had garnished my paycheck. I couldn't pay my bills.
I called Signature Tax. Now, all my tax problems are behind me.
I can't believe we didn't call Signature Tax earlier.
I can finally get on with my life.
This
This
is the last notice
I'll ever have to worry about.
Thank you, Signature Tax.
If you owe the IRS or state $10,000 or more in back taxes, have a tax lien or wage garnishment, contact Signature Tax today for a free consultation. Signature Tax offers a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Call 800-984-1246 for a free consultation.
April is EcoBoost Challenge Month at Ford. We're making it better with a price challenge at Jim Skinner Ford. If you get a price on a new 2014 Ford from any competitor, bring it to us and we'll beat it or we'll pay you $100 cash regardless. F-150s, Fusions, Escapes, Explorers, Focus, Fiesta, or Mustang. Take the Jim Skinner Ford Price Challenge this week. Bring us any price on any new Ford and we'll beat your best deal or pay you $100 cash regardless.
Every day, they risk their lives to protect us. Firefighters, police officers, and emergency personnel. These first responders are Alabama's true heroes. As a way of giving back to those who give so much, Alabama lawyers are providing simple wills and healthcare directives free of charge to Alabama's first responders. It's called Wills for Heroes, and it's just another example of lawyers rendering service. Brought to you by the Alabama State Bar and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
Keep Bessemer safe. Don't text and drive.
This morning on World News Now, path of destruction. Tornadoes plow through a huge area of the country from Oklahoma to Alabama.
I just remember hearing my dad yell that, please God, you save my family.
The fatalities and the large part of the country under storm warnings.
Basketball backlash, the fallout involving the billionaire owner of the Los Angeles Clippers accused of making racist comments.
Yeah, I believe he said those things. I can't tell you how upset I am, our players are.
Deep trouble for Don Sterling, and the NBA gets ready to take action.
And comfort food gourmet style, one of New York's hottest chefs puts some pizzazz into that grilled cheese sandwich. What a treat from Insomniac Kitchen. It's Tuesday, April 29th.
From ABC News, this is World News Now with John Muller and Diana Perez.
Good Tuesday morning. We do begin this half hour with millions of Americans braving yet another round of violent storms.
An estimated 25 million Americans are still in the hot zone of a dangerous weather system that has now spawned deadly tornadoes across the South, including this gigantic wedge-shaped twister ripping through Tupelo, Mississippi, estimated to be 1 mile wide.
The tornadoes are blamed for some 24 deaths across 3 states, and the hardest hit is Arkansas with at least 15 deaths. ABC's Ashley Bridges joins us now live from Vilonia, Arkansas. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning, John and Diana. And here in Vilonia, the storms have stopped for now, and authorities are actually facing a different challenge, putting this entire town on a curfew overnight to prevent looting. But in those neighboring states, millions of people continue to brace themselves for the damage and destruction that could come with more tornadoes. Those violent tornadoes tearing across